Hey fans, it's now time for Fresno Grizzly baseball. Catch the fun all season long right here on KAAT 103.1 The One. Now let's head to the ballpark for the Miller Lite pregame show with the voice of the Grizzlies, Doug Greenwald.
And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fresno Grizzlies baseball. I'm Doug Greenwald, coming to you live tonight. We're at Franklin Covey Field here in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah, getting set for action. The visiting Fresno Grizzlies and the hometown Salt Lake Stingers. And last night it was the Grizzlies who were stung by Salt Lake. The Stingers 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, coming back, erasing a 5-1 deficit en route to a 6-5 win. The Grizzlies, who lost many of those kind of ball games a year ago, lose the second game of the year like that and fall to 0-2 in the infancy of the 2004 season. Salt Lake at 2-0. So game 3 of this 4-game series about to get underway in 15 minutes on this rather chilly evening here in Salt Lake. Temperature, according to my computer, at 52 degrees, but it feels a lot chillier or more chilly than that. So it is going to be rather on the cool side here tonight, but that's what is expected in Salt Lake in early April. So 2 more games here, including tonight, and then tomorrow we go at 2 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock Fresno time, before we head to Yuma late tomorrow evening. But first things first, on this Miller Lite pregame show, we had a chance to sit down and talk to Fresno Grizzly hitting instructor Steve Decker. A lot of new faces with the Grizzlies this year, but Steve returns as the hitting instructor. And he'll talk about what it's like to work with veteran hitters such as Davey Cruz and Damon Miner, or some of the younger hitters like a Jamie Athas and a Todd Linden. We'll play that interview for you when we get back on the Miller Lite pregame show.
Get ready for another test. Yeah, we know you've had enough tests to last a lifetime, but this one's actually kind of fun. It's the Miller Taste Challenge. Just order a Miller Genuine Draft and a Budweiser. Then see them, smell them, and taste them. First, take a look at the color. Miller Genuine Draft has a rich golden hue. Now for smell. Don't worry, you don't have to swirl it around like some kind of wine snob. Just take a whiff. You're looking for a nice malty aroma. Finally, the most important part, take a sip. We don't need to tell you what to look for when it comes to tasting a beer. It ought to taste smooth with a full balanced flavor. In other words, Miller Genuine Draft. So that's it, the whole test. We think you'll prefer Miller Genuine Draft, the beer with genuine flavor that's cold filtered smooth. But don't take our word for it. Try the test and see for yourself. Because at Miller, we believe there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller. Good call. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And welcome back to Fresno Grizzlies baseball. Doug Greenwald with you as the Grizzlies get set. Game 3 of this 4-game series tonight in Salt Lake. We're joined by Grizzlies hitting coach Steve Decker. And Steve, back for your second year in Fresno, and a lot of new faces here on this Grizzlies club. So that means a lot of learning on your part to learn these guys' tendencies.
Absolutely. Some new faces, some guys I've actually played against and a little bit. And, it's kind of funny. There's new faces in the front office, too, so I'm getting to know a whole new crowd.
Well, new faces all around, but you are a familiar face, second year in Fresno. Last year, you came from rookie ball as a coach to AAA. That's quite a jump. What is the biggest difference for you working with the baby, so to speak, compared to guys who've been in the big leagues?
Well, I tell you, my career was up and down, back and forth between AAA and the big leagues. I was probably coaching 3 years before my career was even over, really. Guys would come to me and ask me things. And I know a lot about the AAA level because of I spent a lot of time there, and I know the mindset of a lot of players, some guys being frustrated coming down from the big leagues, and other guys, younger hitters that are coming up that are learning the process of hitting in the PCL and the craftiness of some of the pitchers in this league.
You have your veteran players, major league veteran players on this team. For example, Davey Cruz, who's been up there for about 7 years. Damon Miner certainly has got a decent amount of big league time. What is your approach to them compared to, let's say, a Jamie Athas or a Todd Linden?
Well, with those guys, the older guys, you got to basically keep them on track. What's worked for them and what have they done well in the past to have success. What type of hitter they're going to be at the major league level, not just in AAA. And you try to do little routines with them, maybe look at video from the past on what they've done well, and try to keep them a maintenance program, per se, on those guys. Whereas an Athas and a Linden, you're still trying to get the kinks worked out and trying to get them to make adjustments on what they're going to need to do to be successful at the major league level against good pitching day in, day out.
Rob Stratton struck out 7 of his first 8 times. We know he has the capability of hitting the ball about 500 feet, but what are you working on with him?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny you asked me that because he had a great spring. I mean, and then for 2 days, he went through this funk of 7 strikeouts in 2 days and just baffled me, you know, that he gets caught into that. But I tell you, he's so dangerous as a hitter. And in the cage, we've worked real hard on depth and him knowing where he's going to go to hit. We faced a couple real hard throwers the last couple nights, and it's got him a little jumpy. We've got about, 400 and some at-bats left. I think he should have a good year. At least we're hoping he has a good year because he really makes that 3-run home run a real possibility to give those pitchers some breathing room in a game. I would say he's an average Major League outfielder. He throws decent. He actually fields decent. But if we get that consistency in that bat, we're looking to make him a big league hitter, not just a slugger that performs at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and oohs and ahs everybody, because you get paid at 7 o'clock on. That's when the real game starts. So we're really trying to make him a complete hitter and trying to get him to the big leagues. For me, he is a prospect on this team, and if we can get him locked in, he could help a Major League club.
This is a team with a lot of interchangeable parts, and Fred Stanley's had to rotate a lot of guys. Nathan Haynes, for example, is a veteran of this level. He and Jason Ellison sort of remind me of one another because their ability to run so well, and because of that, Jason Ellison has hit 9th the first couple of games. How do you think he will adjust to that?
Well, it's really the only place he's either going to hit leadoff or 9th because of the sock we have in the middle of the lineup now and the depth we have in our lineup. It's not a situation where Ellie's hitting 9th because he can't hit. Obviously, he's hit 300 every year he's been, but it gives him that extra leadoff spot Freddie's looking for that speed before the leadoff hitter comes up again. Yeah, early in the season on every club, you've got guys that have to play, and usually it works itself out as the season goes along. But for a while, you're going to see some interchangeable players, guys that are starting and then playing a couple games and then sitting a game, playing 2 or 3 games and sitting a game. So until that team, you've been around a long time, Doug, and you've seen it in the past. And you try to give everybody their at-bats. Then injuries comes, moves comes, guys don't perform, releases come, whatever happens. But usually it all comes out in the wash at the end, and guys get their at-bats in, and then you kind of judging towards that last month on how the season's going.
And finally, Steve, at AAA, the pitchers hit, and we'll see that only against National League affiliates. How much time do you spend in the cage with the pitchers?
Not much. I tell you, the one focus we do have is that they bunt. And now that we've started spring training, they don't get any at-bats unless it's not even in the real games, because you just pinch hit for them all the time because there's so many players. But, some guys take pride in hitting. Kevin Pickford is an outstanding hitter. Jensen swings the bat pretty well. Cooper's new on the team. I'm not real sure about him. And Noah Lowry seems to think he can hit, so we'll see if he can do it. But last year our hitters did a great job, and pitchers that take pride in their hitting and work on it get themselves over that little hump inning, about that 5th or 6th hump inning. Do you have to pinch hit for them, or can they handle the bat? Can they get a bunt down? And that way they get in there and maybe get that decision, and 3 or 4 decisions a year that are left up to somebody else. If they can hit a little bit, they can stay in the game.
All right, Steve, well, as always, we appreciate your time, and look forward to working with you again this year.
Me too, Doug.
All right, that was Grizzlies hitting instructor Steve Decker. Back with more on the pregame in a moment.
Emergency hotline, can I help you?
Hello? Yes, I need help.
All right, sir, what's the problem?
I can't taste my beer.
You can't taste your beer?
No, and it's really freaking me out.
Okay, calm down, sir.
I take a sip, I feel it in my mouth. It's wet, but there's no taste. Nothing.
Okay, sir, listen to me. Sir, stay with me. What's your name?
Robert.
Okay, Robert, this is what I want you to do. Put the bottle down and step away from the beer. Go ahead.
Okay, I did it.
Now I want you to leave the house immediately, walk straight down to the corner store, and pick up a 6-pack of Miller Lite. Robert, are you listening?
Yes.
Open one, take a sip, and everything should be right back to normal.
Okay.
Don't worry, Robert. We've seen this problem before. It's going to be all right.
Next time, try the light beer that actually tastes like beer. Great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller. Good call. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And welcome back to the Miller Lite pregame show. Doug Greenwald with you on KAT 103.1. The one. Miller Lite, half the carbs of Bud Light. Now that's what you call great taste. Less filling Miller Lite. Good call. I want to thank Steve Decker for joining us on the pregame show, the hitting instructor for the Fresno Grizzlies, a man who played with the San Francisco Giants for a handful of seasons, came up in the early 90s, and also spent some time with the Colorado Rockies and Florida Marlins. So thanks Steve Decker for coming on the Miller Lite pregame. Now it's time to take a look at the Supercuts starting lineups. Supercuts is the official hair salon and proud sponsor of the Fresno Grizzlies. Call 1-800-SUPERCUTS for the location near you. For the Fresno Grizzlies, the manager Fred Stanley leading off at third base, Brian Dallimore. Francisco Santos hits second. He plays first base. The right fielder is Todd Linden. He hits third. Damon Miner, a two-run homer last night in the first inning, is the designated hitter. He bats cleanup. Rob Stratton's in left field, batting fifth. Davey Cruz gets the call at shortstop tonight and bats sixth. David Doster bats seventh. He is the second baseman. Behind the plate is Trey Lunsford. He bats eighth, and batting ninth in center field is Nathan Haynes. On the mound tonight for the Fresno Grizzlies, the right-hander Kevin Correa. So again, for Fresno, manager Fred Stanley, Dallimore, Santos, Linden, Miner, Stratton, Cruz, Doster, Lunsford, Haynes, and on the hill is the right-hander Kevin Correa. Mike Brumley's lineup in the Salt Lake Stingers look like this. Alfredo Meziga leads it off at shortstop. Jake Thrower, our first look at him, bats second. He plays third base. Rob Quinlan's at first base, hitting third. In left field tonight is Adam Riggs. He hits cleanup. Barry Gordon is in right field, batting fifth. The center fielder is Barry Wesson. He hits sixth. Gary Johnson is the DH, bats seventh. Tom Gregorio gets his first start of the year. He bats eighth, does the catching. Batting ninth at second base, Brian Specht. Having just concluded his warm-up tosses in the Salt Lake right field bullpen is the right-hander Jason Middlebrook. Meziga, Thrower, Quinlan, Riggs, Gordon, Wesson, Johnson, Gregorio, Specht, and Middlebrook on the mound. Your Supercuts starting lineups. Again, the official hair salon and proud sponsor of the Fresno Grizzlies. Call 1-800-SUPERCUTS for the location near you. Look around the Pacific Coast League last night. Colorado Springs shut out Nashville behind Aaron Cook 9-0. Iowa makes it 2 in a row over New Orleans 3-0. That same score, Memphis beat Albuquerque. Oklahoma topped Omaha 4-1. It was Tacoma 13, Tucson 4. Those teams have had some wild ball games in the first two contests this year. Edmonton evens up its series with Sacramento 6-5. That game in Yuma last night, and Las Vegas makes it 2 in a row to start the campaign 7-3 over Portland. Look around the league tonight. Elsewhere in the Pacific Coast League, a doubleheader at Omaha between Oklahoma and Omaha. Colorado Springs plays at Nashville. Albuquerque is at Memphis. New Orleans is at Iowa. Tacoma plays at Tucson. Sacramento against Edmonton, with that game being in Yuma, Arizona. And Portland is at Las Vegas. Colorado Springs and Iowa both 2-0 in the Central Division. Memphis and Oklahoma both 2-0 in the East. Salt Lake is 2-0 in the North, and Las Vegas 2-0 in the South. We're going to take one last break before we have the first pitch of this contest. We'll do it in a moment on KAT 103.1, The One.
The pregame show was sponsored by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, good call. Coming up next, we're heading to the ballpark for exciting Fresno Grizzlies baseball. Looking for a great place to celebrate your birthday or team party? The Wildwood Pool and Spa at Grizzly Stadium is the place to be. Also great for bachelor parties, businesses, and family functions. The Wildwood Pool and Spa can accommodate any group from 25 to 50 people in size. Your pool admission includes a catered poolside meal, a unique way to watch Grizzlies take on the competition. For all the great price of just $30 per person. Summer dates are filling fast, so cool off in the Fresno heat by calling 442-1994 to secure a spot by the pool today. And now, fans, get ready for exciting Pacific Coast League action. Fresno Grizzlies baseball is on the air. This broadcast is sponsored by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. The Fresno Bee since 1922. The Central Valley's leading newspaper. Subway, Eat Fresh. Community Medical Center. Carl's Jr. Yellow Book USA. His Magazine. Supercuts. Human Services Center. The County of Fresno Use Oil. Now, with all the action, here's the voice of the Grizzlies, Doug Greenwald.
And the national anthem here tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah. About this 48-degree evening right now. As I mentioned earlier, it says 50 degrees according to weather.com, but it is considerably chillier than that. Attendance here, the capacity here is 15,500, and I look down right now, I'd say maybe 1,000 in the stands, largely because the Utah Jazz are playing tonight in a very, very big contest against the Houston Rockets, and somehow Yao Ming and company are taking precedence over the Fresno Grizzlies. The Salt Lake Stingers have taken the field. We'll look at them defensively from left to right. Adam Riggs, Barry Wesson is in center field. Brian Gordon is around and right. From third to first, Jake Thrower. Alfredo Amezaga is at shortstop. Brian Specht at second. Rob Quinlan is at first. And the catcher is Tom Gregorio. And the ninth starting pitcher is the veteran right-hander, Jason Middlebrook. 28 years old. He'll be 29 on Derek Jeter's birthday, June 26th. Middlebrook making his first ever appearance for an Anaheim affiliate, coming over from the New York Mets organization as a free agent. Has had considerable time with the Padres system and the New York Mets, both appearing in the big leagues with each team. So Middlebrook on the mound here tonight. Reminder, tomorrow we go in the afternoon. It'll be a 1:45 local time pregame, so 12:45 pregame Fresno time, 1 o'clock Fresno time, first pitch. And then after the game we head to Yuma, where we will face Edmonton in the neutral site games, and largely because it's just too cold to play in Edmonton this time of year. And the weather, I looked on the forecast, should be very nice down in southern Arizona. Brian Dallimore will lead it off for the Fresno Grizzlies. Game 3 of the 2004 campaign. So far, Salt Lake winners in the first two, 8-4 on Thursday, and 6-5 last night with a 5-run bottom of the ninth. Brian Dallimore, Francisco Santos, and Todd Linden to face Jason Middlebrook, who is out of the full windup. And the right-hander's first pitch of the game is a fastball missing low. 1 ball, no strikes, and we're underway in Salt Lake. Dallimore holds that bat right on the in, and Middlebrook winds again, delivers, and a fastball, strike one called on the outside corner. 1-1. Sean Rakos calls balls and strikes. Scott Latender is the umpire at first. Al Upton is the umpire at third. The 1-1 on the way. A fastball misses inside. 2 balls and a strike to Dallimore. So far, 3 for his first 7 in 2004 after leading the PCL in batting a year ago. Middlebrook's 2-1 pitch swung on and ripped in the center field, a base hit for Brian Dallimore. Brian went down for that ball and just simply poked it out in the center. Well, he is aboard. Good start for the Grizzlies tonight. Had a good start last night, but not a very good finish. Grizzlies with 2 runs in the first an evening ago, thanks to a Damon Minor 2-run homer. Now, Dallimore at first base, and here is Francisco Santos, who did not play last night. Started on opening night at first base with a couple of hits. Now, Dallimore at first, not a very big lead as Quinlan holds him on, and Middlebrook from the middle of the rubber set. Now he delivers, and he misses high outside with a fastball, 1-0. Fred Stanley is the third base umpire. Let me try this again here. He's the third base coach and manager for the Fresno Grizzlies. At times, Fred will tell you he's the third base umpire, or would like to be. Over at first base, hitting instructor Steve Decker. The 1-0 on the way. Santos, a big swing and a pop-up third base side, foul territory. Thrower over near the Fresno dugout, and Jake Thrower makes the catch right in front of the stands, third base side. And Santos is the first out here tonight. That'll bring up the right fielder, Todd Linden. Trust the Fresno Bee for complete coverage of the Grizzlies, top local news, entertainment, and advertisements. The Fresno Bee, Central California's leading newspaper. Now here is Linden. Todd 3 hits in his first 8 at-bats in 2004, wearing long black sleeves underneath his gray shirt that spells Fresno across the front with black letters and white trim. Salt Lake in the home white uniform, Stingers spelled across the front, red letters, and royal blue trim. Middlebrook's pitch to Linden misses high and away for a ball. 1-0 the count. With Damon Minor waiting on deck. This is the third of 16 regular season meetings between the Grizzlies and Stingers. Salt Lake will be the home opener for Fresno coming up next Friday, the 16th. The 1-0 on the way. The Linden swinging a dry foul left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. The ticket's still on sale. Opening night, we're going to have fireworks after the ball game, sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Call the Grizzlies front office, 559-442-1994. It's going to be a fun opening weekend. Jerome Williams bobblehead all night for the first 2,500 fans will be a week from tonight, April 17th at Grizzly Stadium. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dallimore at first. He'll draw a throw from Middlebrook, and Bryan back safely with a dive. Middlebrook grew up in the Detroit area and was drafted by the Padres in the 9th round back in 1996. And then his first year playing was 97. He spent time in the PCL in Portland. And fastball to Linden is a strike in the outside corner, 1-2. It does have 24 games of major league experience, 4 and 4 at the big league level. Last year, spent just about the entire season at the Mets AAA club in Norfolk, Virginia, where he went 7-10 for the Tides, and then got into 5 ball games with the Mets without a decision. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Dallimore from first base, hands on his knees with the lead, and the pitch, fastball low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Most of the players tonight with the long sleeve undershirts. It is a rather chilly night here in northern Utah. But the most important thing is very, very clear conditions and a beautiful view of the Wasatch Mountains. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dallimore big lead at first. A breaking ball. Linden takes strike 3 on the inside corner. So Middlebrook took something off of that one and caught Linden looking. The Baton is down on strikes. Dallimore holds it first. 2 down, top of the first. Fresno nothing. Salt Lake yet to bat, and here is Damon Minor. 2-run homer in the first inning last night. His first of the year, and the Grizzlies' only home run so far for the first 2 ball games. Stingers put on the infield shift against Minor, and Damon takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. The third baseman thrower, bag of the bag, well off the line. The shortstop, Amezuga, playing on the lip of the outfield grass, parallel to second base. The second baseman, Speck, pulled well around to the right. Quinlan at first holds on Dallimore. Not a very big lead. The 1-0 to Damon Minor. Fastball misses low and in. 2 balls, no strikes. Grizzlies will make a return trip to Salt Lake at the end of May, the 28th through the 31st. Last year, Fresno opened their road season here with a 4-game sweep. That will not happen this year unless it's the Stingers who sweep. The 2-0 on the way, and Damon takes that's in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes. Salt Lake now in its 4th year of affiliation with the Anaheim Angels from 94 through 2000, a 7-year association with the Minnesota Twins. 3-0 the count. Dallimore again at first base. Middlebrook to the plate, and Minor taking all the way. Looks at strike 1 on the outside corner. 3 balls, 1 strike. The Franklin Covey Field has been up since 94 when the Stingers, or the Salt Lake Buzz at the time, came into existence after moving from Portland. 3 balls and a strike, and Minor takes, and that is low and in, and he draws a walk. Dallimore will go to second. Minor down to first, and that extends the inning for the left fielder, Rob Stratton. And at the time, in 94, this ballpark was known as one of the jewels of minor league baseball, much like Fresno's ballpark is now. But this is still a gorgeous ballpark here in Salt Lake. Fans can bring picnic blankets and sit out in the right field or left field berm. There's a second deck here as well. Here is Stratton, who swings and lifts one high in the air down the right field line, foul. No balls, 1 strike. And in the view of the snow-capped Wasatch Mountains out in the distance, just a gorgeous setting for minor league baseball. Stratton, a base hit last night in the 9th inning. He had been to the plate 7 times prior and had struck out all 7 times, so 1 for 8 on the young campaign. Dallimore from second, Minor from first, both with big leads. And Middlebrook's 0-1 on the way. Fastball. Stratton swings and misses strike 2. 0-2 the count. Davy Cruz, the shortstop, is on deck. Most of the outfield in sunlight, for the exception of shallow right or shallow right center. No balls, 2 strikes. Middlebrook to the plate, and Stratton swings. Line drive, center field, base hit. Brian Dallimore is going to be waved to the plate, and he will score the first run of the contest. Minor will stop at second, and the Grizzlies are on the board first with a first-inning run, an RBI single for Rob Stratton. And that is tonight's Carl's Jr. play of the game, brought to you by Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Now Stratton, an RBI hit, and that keeps the inning going for the shortstop, Davy Cruz, who had a couple of singles last night. Minor, the runner at second base. And the Grizzlies, like last night, get on the board in the first inning. Now here is Davy, and Middlebrook's pitch. Cruz takes up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Cruz starting at shortstop tonight. Started at second base last night. And the man on deck, Dave Doster, getting the call at second base this evening, with Jamie Athos having the night off. And that's the, I guess, pleasant problem that manager Fred Stanley has. He has a lot of interchangeable parts, and he's going to have to rotate everybody. 1 ball, no strikes. Middlebrook to the plate, and Cruz takes a curve in the dirt. 2-0 the count. When you look at a guy like Athos, who the Giants are very high on at shortstop. But Davy Cruz is a guy who might be called upon to go to the major leagues. 7 years of big league experience with the Orioles and the Tigers, the Padres. So he needs to stay sharp in case the big club needs him. Dave Doster, another guy capable of filling a role at the big league level. Something he's done with the Philadelphia Phillies. Jason Ellison, the night off tonight. Nathan Haynes, a veteran of the Pacific Coast League. He gets the call tonight in center. 2 balls, no strikes. Runners at first and second. Cruz swings. Was this one in the air toward right center field. Gordon on the run, drifting back toward the track, and he makes the catch. And the top of the first is over, but the Grizzlies get a run on 2 hits. They leave 2. And after half an inning tonight, it's Fresno 1 and Salt Lake coming to bat on KAAT 103.1, The One.
So last week, Jimmy got his hair colored.
Hair coloring? Jimmy? Isn't that a little,
expensive? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts color his hair now, so it's completely affordable.
Well, I was leaning more towards, isn't that kind of like,
risky? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts stylists are trained in hair coloring, so they're not going to mess it up.
Well, that's great information, but I mean, isn't coloring your hair considered somewhat, like,
permanent? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts can do it so it'll last till it grows out or until it gradually fades out. And he says the ladies love it.
Hold the telescope. Ladies love it?
That's what Jimmy says.
Hey, didn't we pass the Supercuts back to the waist?
I think so.
Hair coloring at Supercuts. We know how it is. Supercolor available at select locations.
Time for a change? Try Supercuts' new service, Supercolor. Whether it's highlights, tips, or an all-out glazing, Supercolor is a quick, affordable way for both men and women to show their true colors. Call your local Supercuts to see if Supercolor has arrived.
Opening night at downtown Grizzlies Stadium is fast approaching. Get your tickets now for April 16th. The Grizzlies host the Salt Lake Stingers. First pitch, 7:05. Make sure to stay for the Napa Auto Parts fireworks show after the game. For more information, contact the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball. There is nothing minor about it. Fresno 1, Salt Lake coming to bat to face the right-hander Kevin Correa. Second year with the Fresno Grizzlies. Correia. Man who made it to the big leagues last year in just his second season of professional baseball. 4th-round pick by the Giants out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo back in 2002. So Correa getting the call here tonight. He'll face Alfredo Amezaga, Jake Thrower, and Rob Quinlan here in the home half of the first. And Correa will have a run to work with. Last season at AAA Fresno was 1-0, but spent most of the year at AA Norwich with the Navigators in Connecticut, where he was 6-6. Well, Amezaga to start it off. Switch hitter bats left-handed. 2 for his first 9. That was part of that 5-run rally last night with an RBI single. Kevin Correa out of the full windup, and the right-hander's first pitch goes off the glove of Lunsford and deflects all the way toward the Salt Lake first base dugout. 1 ball, no strikes. Correa, 23 years old, born and still lives in San Diego. 1 ball, no strikes. Outfield around to the left, and Correa to the plate, and Amezaga looks right down the middle for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Mike Brumley is the third base coach and manager for Salt Lake. Jim Eppert, the hitting instructor, coaches at first. Ballamore, the third baseman, on the lip of the grass on the 1-1 to Amezaga, swinging a comebacker. Correa on the hill fields it. He'll run it about a couple of steps toward first before he overhands it to Cruz, or to Santos, and Amezaga is out. One away here in the home half of the first inning, a 1-0 lead for Fresno. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jake Thrower. Hey, Grizzlies fans, have you heard? Your neighborhood Subway restaurants have delicious salads, like the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach, or the classic Club Salad. And Subway salads are made fresh right in front of you. So head to a greater Fresno area Subway restaurant today. Subway, eat fresh. Correa out of the full lineup, and his first pitch to Jake Thrower misses high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. This is our first look at Jake Thrower this year. Last year we saw him in a Portland Beaver uniform when he was in the Padres organization. Correa's 1-0 on the way, and Thrower looks at the knees for a strike, 1-1. And Jake Thrower, a guy that can play second base, third base, shortstop. Left-handed batter. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Ballamore even with the bag at third. And Correa from the first base side of the rubber delivers. High fastball, and Thrower late. Swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thrower from a place that we will be going for the next few days, Yuma, Arizona. Went to high school there. Don't find a lot of people who are from there originally. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he swings and swats one to third right at Ballamore. And Brian Strong threw across the diamond, gets Thrower. And that is the second out here in the home half of the first, a 1-0 lead for Fresno. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Rob Quinlan. Franklin Covey Field, 345 down the left field line, 420 to straightaway center, and 315 down the right field line. An 8-foot fence all the way around, decked out in billboards. Now here is Quinlan, and Rob takes, and that is high. 1 ball, no strikes. I guess that's the old-fashioned name for them, really fence signs. But it is a padded wall out there. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Correa working quickly, and the right-hander to the plate, and Quinlan takes that as low inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Correa went to big league camp, got in the 4 games with the Giants in spring training, was 0-1 with an ERA at 4.66. But a very quick progression to the Giants system. The 2-0 on the way, misses high to Quinlan. 3 balls, no strikes. And ended up making his major league debut last July at Coors Field against the Rockies. 3 balls, no strikes. Again, Kevin out of the full lineup. He comes home, and Quinlan taking all the way, looks at a strike on the outside corner, 3-1. Quinlan off to a good start, 5 for his first 8 with a homer and 4 runs batted in, including a 3-run shot here on opening night. 3 balls, 1 strike. Correa deals. Quinlan swings and grounds one right past Correa. But the second baseman, Dulster, to his right, dives, gets up, and throws out Quinlan. Outstanding play by the second baseman, David Doster. And that ends the first inning. Correa gets 3 groundouts, all of different variety. Nothing across for Salt Lake in the first, and after an inning from Northern Utah, Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing on KAAT 103.1, the one for good defense.
What's my Subway salad? Well, it's hard for a farmer man to choose. Yes, my goat friend, the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach is my favorite, with grilled chicken strips and tasty toppers on a bed of 100% baby spinach. It's Atkins Friendly. So's the classic club salad made fresh under my sniffer. Too bad Atkins ain't for goats. What's your language? My Subway salad? Any of the new Subway fresh salads. It's what I eat when I want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
The Fresno Grizzlies have a full lineup in store for you opening weekend. On Saturday, 7:05, it'll be Jerome Williams bobblehead night for the first 2,500 fans, sponsored by Mervyn's. The weekend is capped on Sunday, a 2:05 matinee. The first 10,000 fans will receive Crazy Paint Fresno Grizzlies magnetic schedules. Tickets are still on sale for all 3 games. Call the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball, there is nothing minor about it.
This is John Bisney, CNN Radio News. Thanks for keeping your radio tuned to the Mountain Cat during these trying times. We'll do our best to keep you informed of current news from around the world, the nation, and California. If you'll give us a few minutes at the top of each hour, we'll keep you informed and up to date. And in the event of critical news, we'll break in with the latest information that affects you. Depend on CNN News and KAAT Radio, the Mountain Cat.
Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. We go to the visitors' half of the second inning. Doug Greenwald with you at Franklin Covey Field. David Doster, Trey Lunsford, Nathan Haynes, 7-8-9 to face the right-hander Jason Middlebrook. Now proving once again that the old baseball adage never fails. The guy that makes an outstanding defensive play to end the inning leads off the next inning. And Doster, an outstanding play at second to end the first inning, leads off the second inning, facing the right-hander and Jason Middlebrook. Doster right-handed batter, and Middlebrook out of the full windup, and his pitch, and Doster swings and hits one foul to the right. No balls, 1 strike. Doster 1 for 4 on opening night, did not play last night. Getting the call here this evening. With Lunsford on deck. 0-1 to count. Outfield straightaway, not terribly deep, and Middlebrook's pitch. Doster looks low inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're talking about Doster, who has some big league time with the Phillies, but also played a season in Japan. Middlebrook winds and is 1-1 on the way, and then a swatted foul left side by David Doster. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Doster grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and played his college baseball at Indiana State. Indiana State turned out a pretty good basketball player about 20 years ago. The 1-2 on the way, and that is low inside, 2-2. Speaking, of course, of Larry Bird, who played his final college game just a couple of miles up the road from where we are at the University of Utah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Middlebrook delivers, curve, misses low outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Middlebrook came to the big leagues with the Padres and has had some arm trouble. The right-hander's 3-2, and Doster swings and a chopper to short. Amazuga, a couple steps to his left, now back of the second base bag, throws out Doster. And that is the first out here in the second inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Trey Lunsford. Trey has played all 3 games so far here in the 2004 season, 1 for his first 6. Right-handed batter. A run, 2 hits, no errors for Fresno. Nothing across so far for Salt Lake. Now here is Trey, and Middlebrook's fastball taken for a strike on the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike. Middlebrook's first big league year was 2001. Got into 4 ball games with the Padres. Out of the full windup, working quickly, and Lunsford looks low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then 2000, or after the 2000 season, was traded. Let me correct that. In the 2002 season, was traded to the Mets. Lunsford swings and misses at a slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Part of a trade with Steve Reed and Bobby Jones. Not Fresno's Bobby Jones, but the left-handed pitcher Bobby Jones. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Lunsford looks, and that is low outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the Angels assigning a few new faces to the Salt Lake club. When you look at Gordon, who was with the Diamondback system last year, and Middlebrook, who was with the Mets, Thrower with the Padres, Delvin James, who we could see tonight out of the bullpen, coming over from the Devil Rays organization. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Lunsford popped up on the infield, right side of the diamond. Who's going to get this one? The first baseman, Quinlan, will, on the grass portion of the diamond. 2 down. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Nathan Haynes. New at Carl's Jr., the low-carb breakfast bowl with eggs, cheese, bacon, sausage, ham, and only 5 grams of carbs. Now only at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Here is Haynes, left-handed batter, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Haynes, no stranger to Salt Lake. Played here a couple of seasons ago. No balls and a strike. Middlebrook delivers, and Haynes swings and misses at a breaking ball. 0-2 the count. He holds the franchise record for consecutive games with a hit, a 24-game hitting streak back in 2002. No balls, 2 strikes. Middlebrook delivers, and Haynes just gets a piece of it, fouls it to the backstop. 0-2 the count. Now Nathan has been as high as AAA right here in Salt Lake. Been in the minor leagues since 1997, a former first-round pick by the A's. But this is his highest level. The 0-2 on the way, and he takes inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But still just 24 years old. Won't be 25 until after the minor league season is over. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count with 2 out. And Middlebrook delivers, and Haynes swings and misses at a slider in the dirt, and he strikes out. Grizzlies in the second go 1-2-3, and after 1.5 from the Great Salt Lake, Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing on KAAT 103.1, the one for Big Band Weekend.
Hey, Grizzly fans, make sure you get the most complete Grizzlies coverage by subscribing daily to the Fresno Bee, and we'll cap it off with a cap. If you are a baseball fan, you won't want to miss the Bee's in-depth stories, columns, and box scores that appear every day in the Bee. In addition to the complete coverage of your hometown AAA team, you will also receive all the top local news, entertainment, and advertisements. Call today to subscribe to the Bee for 3 months. Mention this ad, and we will send you a free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap. Call 411-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe and receive your free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap today.
Welcome to Hank's Kitchen, the cooking show for guys. Today's breakfast, leftover pizza. Step 1, open the fridge. Step 2, pull out the pizza box from last week. But try not to knock over that half-empty can of beer. You're going to need that later. Step 3, look at the pizza. Is it shrunken, dehydrated, and curled up like a witch's boot? If so, you might need to use the microwave. Now, sometimes the pizza is beyond resuscitation. To test it, tap it against a table. If it makes this noise, just go to Carl's Jr. instead for a low-carb breakfast bowl. There's eggs, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, and it's all in a bowl. As for the pizza, have it later with that half-empty beer. Just pretend it's a really big cracker.
The low-carb breakfast bowl with only 5 grams of carbs. New at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Price and participation may vary.
Adam Riggs leads it off for Salt Lake as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. Doug Greenwald with you on KAT 103.1, the one. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Grizzlies. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Stingers. Riggs, Gordon, and Wesson to face Kevin Correa. And the right-hander's first pitch to Riggs misses inside. A ball and no strikes. Riggs was the DH last night. Had a double in 5 plate appearances. 1 ball, no strikes. Correa to the plate, and a fastball was taken for a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 the count. Correa, very eventful 2003. 1 ball, 1 strike. The right-hander to the plate, and Riggs taps one foul right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Correa 3-1 with the Giants last year at the big league level, but spent what seemed like most of the summer going between San Francisco and Fresno and not pitching either place. 1-2 on the way to Riggs, swing and a fly ball deep down the right field line. A long run for Linden, and he's got to play it 1 hop to the wall. Riggs on his way to second base, and he opens the bottom of the second inning with a stand-up double. A good start for the Stingers, who trail 1-0 in the home half of the second. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Brian Gordon. Correa was called up in early July from AA Norwich. did not pitch for Fresno. They say called up to AAA from AA, but did not pitch for Fresno. The Giants called him up, made one start, sent him back to Fresno, and then called him back up again, sent him back and forth, and that's how he earned the name of Yo-Yo. Now here's Gordon, left-handed batter, and Bryan takes up and away, a ball, no strikes. 2 for his first state for the West Point, New York native in Gordon. Riggs, the runner at second base, pretty good size lead. Cruz, the shortstop, plays behind him, and Correa from the set now kicks and throws. Gordon lifts this one high in the air into left center field. Into that sunlight goes Haynes, and the center fielder makes the catch. Riggs tags from second. He is on his way to third. The throw to third gets away, but backed up by Correa right in front of the Fresno third base dugout. Riggs' throw, or Haynes' throw, took a sharp hop past Dallimore. There was nothing Bryan could do at third base, but Correa, that's why they teach you to back up bases, was there in perfect backup position. And even if it had gotten past Correa, it would have hit off the screen in front of the Grizzlies dugout, so it would have stayed in play. Well, Riggs goes to third, and here is the center fielder, Barry Wesson, with a tying run at third and 1 out. Infield is back, and Wesson takes fastball up and in, 1-0. This early in the game, the Grizzlies will concede the run. Wesson 0 for 4 last night with a walk and a strikeout. Wesson Riggs a small lead at third, and the 1-0 on the way. Barry Wesson late at a fastball, swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're talking about this rotation. We have a couple of prospects the Giants are very high on, and Correa and Lowry. Noah Lowry will go tomorrow. And then the other 3 pitchers are more veteran. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a fastball low to Wesson. 2 balls and a strike. When you look at Adam Pettyjohn, he'd spent his entire pro career with the Tigers. Fresno native Kevin Pickford, who we'll see Monday night in Yuma. And then last night, an outstanding effort from the veteran Brian Cooper. 2 balls and a strike. The lead at third by Riggs, and Correa again out of a full windup to the plate. Wesson swings and misses. Throw back to third, and back safely is Riggs, and a heck of a play by Dallimore to keep that one from going into left field, saving a run for the moment. Good try by Lunsford to pick off Riggs, but it looked like for a moment he did a better job picking off third baseman Dallimore. A great play by Bryan to keep that one in the infield. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the infield will come in halfway. 1-0 Fresno, bottom of the second inning. Here from Salt Lake City, Utah. Stingers opening the season on an 8-game homestand. 4 against Fresno, and then Sacramento comes in on Monday. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Correa out of the full windup with a runner at third from the first base side of the rubber, and Wesson swings and lines, but back to Correa. Throw back to third, and back safely is Riggs. And again, a good play by Dallimore. Correa almost threw that one past Bryan. 2 out. Good play by Kevin Correa on the line drive. Wesson is the second out here in the bottom of the second inning, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Gary Johnson. Take the Miller Genuine Draft Taste Test against Budweiser and see, smell, and taste the difference. At Miller, we believe that there is good enough and better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Now here is Gary Johnson, 4 for his first 8 on the young season. With Riggs at third base, the infield now moves back. And Correa to the plate. Johnson takes up and away. 1 ball, no strikes, with the catcher, Tom Gregorio, waiting on deck. The faithful here tonight. Mentioned earlier that the Utah Jazz have a game just down the block. And that's why there's a small crowd at the baseball game. A fastball to Johnson taken for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our hotel here is right downtown. You can almost walk to the Delta Center where the Jazz play. And we're not too far from City Hall. 1 ball, 1 strike. Correa to the plate. Johnson swings and fouls one right back into the public address booth. Good play over there by Jeff Reeves, the public address announcer here at Franklin Covey Field. We are right on top of things here. Our booth is on the 4th floor, the suite level. Great vantage point to call a ball game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Riggs at third. And Correa's pitch to Johnson. And Gary goes around at a breaking ball low and away. Strike 3. And Correa works out of trouble in the second. No runs to hit. A man left. On to the third from Salt Lake. Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. On KAT 103.1. The one for CNN News. Community Medical Centers is proud to give you all a place to bring your creaks, aches, pains, sprains, and groans. The new state-of-the-art Community Sports Center, conveniently located north Fresno, offers 12,000 square feet dedicated to fitness training and the latest outpatient rehabilitation therapies. Ask your doctor about the place that every body needs, the Community Sports Center. In store for a hot, long summer in the Valley? Looking for somewhere that will quench your thirst? Then head to downtown Grizzlies Stadium for every home Thursday game. It'll be Thirsty Thursday. Enjoy 12-ounce Miller products and 12-ounce Coca-Cola products for just $1. That's right, just $1 for every Thursday home game. Grizzlies baseball. There's nothing minor about it.
Hi, this is Sid Mark with more of the April sounds of Frank Sinatra, and the legend continues. This week, it's Frank Sinatra and Tommy Dorsey, April 1940. Then on to Dinah Shore, April 1947. Neil Hefti, Swingin' Grass, April 1962. All of these goodies and a bunch in between. This week's Sounds of Sinatra. My name is Sid Mark, and you're invited.
Each Sunday evening on KAAT following Grizzlies baseball.
Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. We head to the top of the third inning tonight from the Great Salt Lake. Doug Greenwald with you on KAT 103.1. The one. We're also on BroadcastMonsters.com, so please feel free to join us. www.broadcastmonsters.com. And you can instant message us or email us at grizzradio@AOL.com. GRIZZ, grizzradio@AOL.com. Brian Dallimore up for the second time tonight at the top of the order, and he takes a strike on the inside corner from Middlebrook. No balls and a strike. Dallimore, Santos, and Linden. Top half of the third, the 0-1 on the way, and Brian looks at a breaking ball. Strike 2 called on the outside corner, 0-2 the count. He has scored the lone run tonight, a single back in the first, and then an RBI for Stratton drove home Dallimore, an RBI single, that is. No balls, 2 strikes, and Middlebrook from the middle of the rubber delivers the 0-2, and Dallimore looks low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Talking about Brian and his .352 batting average last year, which led the Pacific Coast League in hitting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Middlebrook to the plate, and Dallimore takes up and away. 2-2 the count. He became the first Giant at the AAA level to lead the PCL in hitting since Jacob Cruz back in 1997, which was the last year that the Giants had their AAA team in Phoenix. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And Middlebrook to the plate, and Dallimore swings and fouls into the backstop. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Santos sweating on deck. And Brian, an outstanding spring training at the big league level, where he hit over 300. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And again, Middlebrook's delivery, and Dallimore swings a ground ball back at third, grabbed by thrower, long throw to Quinlan, and Dallimore is out. One third baseman grounds out to the other, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Francisco Santos. Monday Madness, presented by Sunflower Seeds. For just $12, you get 12 field-level seats, 2 hot dogs, 2 sodas, and 2 bags of David Sunflower Seeds. That's good for every Monday at Grizzly Stadium, for the exception of the July 5th Monday. That'll be a special fireworks night. Here is Francisco Santos, and he takes up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. For more information or to order tickets, 559-442-1047. That's the Grizzlies ticket office. 1 ball, no strikes to Santos, and he looks at a strike on the inside corner. 1-1 the count. Francisco fouled out to the third baseman thrower back in the first inning. 1-1 on the way, and Francisco looks at strike 2 on the inside corner. 1-2 the count. Santos had a big league call-up last year by the San Francisco Giants. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Middlebrook's pitch, and that swung on and popped up right back toward our broadcast location. Out of play, 1-2. Santos was not the only one last year. 9 players who spent time with the Grizzlies and Giants made their Major League debut in 2003. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Santos takes, and that is in the dirt. 2-2. Correa was one of them. Jason Ellison, Jesse Foppert, Todd Linden, Noah Lowry, Lance Necro, Carlos Valderrama, and Jerome Williams, the other 8. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Out of the full windup, Middlebrook from the right-hander's pitch, and Santos backs away from a fastball inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And there was no question that San Francisco had to dip into Fresno's roster more than once last year. Payoff pitch to Santos. He reaches down for it and grounds one to second to his left spec. And from shallow right field, he throws out Santos 2 away. And that will bring up the right fielder, Todd Linden. He struck out looking back in the first inning, switching left-handed. Mitchell Middlebrook grew up in the Detroit area, but went to Stanford and was drafted out of there in 1996. It's a school that's turned out of more than 1 or 2 good baseball players. Linden swings and lifts this one high in the air on the infield, first base side. Speck, the second baseman, calling for it, and Bryant is there, and he's got it. Back-to-back innings, the Grizzlies go 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the third. It remains 1-0 Fresno on KAAT 103.1. The one for Sean Boyd weather.
Do you change your own oil and oil filter? If so, the city and county of Fresno would like to thank the do-it-yourselfer for recycling your used oil and filters. It's important to do the right thing. Did you know that oil never wears out? It only gets dirty. Used oil can be recycled over and over, helping to preserve our resources and environment. Dumping just 1 gallon of used motor oil in the drain or the ground contaminates up to 1 million gallons of water, and it's illegal. Do the right thing. Recycle your used motor oil and oil filters properly. It's easy. Just call 1-800-CLEAN-UP to locate the state-certified collection center near you. That's 1-800-CLEAN-UP, sponsored by the City and County of Fresno, funded by a grant from the California Integrated Waste Management Board.
Grizzlies mini ticket plans are now on sale. You can choose from a 12-game plan, which includes opening night, 5 giveaway nights, fireworks, and special appearances by the Philly Fanatic, Raiderettes, and Berserk. Or choose the All-Star 18-game plan, which gives you your choice of the day or days of the week which suit you best. That's right. You get to choose your plan. Contact the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball. There's nothing minor about it.
Hi, this is Sid Mark with more of the April sounds of Frank Sinatra, and the legend continues. This week, it's Frank Sinatra and Tommy Dorsey, April 1940. Then on to Dinah Shore, April 1947, Neil Hefti, Swingin' Grass, April 1962, all of these goodies and a bunch in between. This week's Sounds of Sinatra. My name is Sid Mark, and you're invited.
Each Sunday evening on KAAT following Grizzlies baseball.
Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. We go to the home half of the third. Doug Greenwald with you on KAAT 103.1. The one. A run, 2 hits, no errors for Fresno. No runs hit, no errors for Salt Lake. Tom Gregorio leads it off, right-handed batter, facing the right-hander and Kevin Correa, who was out of the windup in his pitch. Gregorio looks down the middle at strike 1, 0-1. Specht in the top of the order for Amezaga here in the third inning. This is Tom Gregorio, first at bat of 2004. Correa out of the windup in his 0-1 pitch. Gregorio chases a slider in the dirt and misses 0-2. Tom Gregorio, a big league call-up last year by the Anaheim Angels. Had a chance to see one of his big league hits last year in Oakland in late September. No balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Tom, fastball. He swings and misses, strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out. Second strikeout for Correa. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Brian Specht. Check out Subway's fantastic 7 under 6 lineup. That's right, your greater Fresno area Subway restaurants have 7 sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less, like the delicious honey mustard with turkey with cucumber with just 4 grams of fat. Try one today. Subway, eat fresh. Here is Specht, who swings in a soft liner right to the shortstop, Davy Cruz. He makes a knee-high basket catch. 2 down. And now for the second time tonight, Salt Lake will go to the top of its order for the shortstop, Alfredo Amezaga. Switch hitter, batting left-handed, taps back to the pitcher Correa in the first. That's when the Grizzlies got the only run of the game on an RBI single by Rob Stratton. So here is Alfredo and Correa to the plate, and Amezaga takes high outside. 1 ball, no strikes. He showed bunt right there, and Ballimore, the third baseman, was charging. 1-0 the count. And the third baseman, Jake Thrower, waiting on deck. Wind blowing out toward right field tonight. 1 ball, no strikes. Correa deals, and Amezaga looks up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. The American flag situated up on the grassy berm in left field, out near a play area for children. 2 balls, no strikes. Amezaga takes that as up and in. 3-0. But much of it empty tonight on this early April evening. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Correa has allowed 1 hit tonight. That was to Riggs in the second. Here's 3-0 on the way, and Amezaga at the outside corner, strike 1. 3-1 the count. Mentioned Salt Lake home for 8 to start the season. The Grizzlies on the road for 8 to start 2004. 3 balls and a strike. Correa delivers, and the fastball is low. Ball 4. Amezaga draws a walk. First base on balls allowed by Correa tonight, and that will bring up the third baseman, Jake Thrower. We were talking about this before. The Grizzlies will be in Yuma playing at Desert Sun Stadium on Monday night. That's the San Diego Padres' old spring training complex that they had since 1969. That did about 25 years, from 69 to 94. And Thrower, being from Yuma, in fact, has a T-shirt that has the words Yuma Criminals on it. That is the name of the high school in Yuma. Correa to the plate, and Thrower takes low outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And you ask, well, what kind of a name is that for a high school? A nickname, that is. And the Yuma Criminals, Yuma High. Well, because there's a large state prison in Yuma. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Lead at first by Amezaga. Outstanding speedy bluff. Thrower swings and grounds 1 foul down the first base line. A ball and a strike. And Thrower born in Yuma, went to high school in Yuma, still lives there. However, went to college at the University of Arizona. But was in the Padres system from 97 through a part of last year, and then was traded in May to the Montreal Expos. 1 ball, 1 strike. Amezaga bluffs. Thrower swings, and it's 1 foul left side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But he has never been to the major league level. 7 years of professional baseball, and the highest he's been is AAA, either at Portland or Edmonton. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count, with Quinlan waiting on deck. Shadows just about over the entire field right now, except for deep right and right center. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a throw to first, and Amezaga back safely with a dive. Looking at the mountains here, and the snow-capped mountains, that is. They say the snow will be off by July. It'll be back by August. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Correa to the plate, and Thrower swings and misses at a slide of the dirt. He strikes out. The Stingers out in the third. No runs. They leave 1 after 3 from Northern Utah. Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing on KAAT 103.1, The One. Do you like great bargains? Enjoy online auctions? Check out B-Link, the Valley's largest local online auction. This is your chance to bid on hundreds of items from local retailers. First, log on to FresnoBee.com/B-Link. That's FresnoBee.com/BEELINK. And register anytime beginning April 12th for your chance to preview items up for bid. Check out the merchandise you're interested in at the store's location. Then, look for the product guide in your Fresno Bee starting Sunday, April 18th. But the real fun begins Tuesday, April 20th, when you start bidding. B-Link, the Fresno Bee's online auction. Bid online and save.
Welcome to Hank's Kitchen, the cooking show for guys. Today's breakfast, leftover pizza. Step 1, open the fridge. Step 2, pull out the pizza box from last week. But try not to knock over that half-empty can of beer. You're going to need that later. Step 3, look at the pizza. Is it shrunken, dehydrated, and curled up like a witch's boot? If so, you might need to use the microwave. Now, sometimes the pizza is beyond resuscitation. To test it, tap it against a table. If it makes this noise, just go to Carl's Jr. instead for a low-carb breakfast bowl. There's eggs, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, and it's all in a bowl. As for the pizza, have it later with that half-empty beer. Just pretend it's a really big cracker.
The low-carb breakfast bowl with only 5 grams of carbs. New at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Price and participation may vary.
Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. We have reached the top of the 4th inning tonight from Salt Lake City. Doug Greenwald with you on KAAT 103.1. The 1. And Damon Miner, the one to lead it off to face Jason Middlebrook. And his first pitch is a breaking ball taken to the knees for a strike, 0-1. Miner, Stratton, and Cruz, 4-5-6. Grizzlies with a 1-0 lead. Top of the 4th inning, and Damon takes high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. He walked back in the first inning, and that set the table for the Stratton RBI single. 1-1 on the way, and he swings and lines one foul past hitting instructor Steve Decker. First base side, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, both pitchers tonight on a 75 pitch limit. Outstanding starting pitching last night. Bobby Jenks of Salt Lake, 9 strikeouts in 7 innings. Brian Cooper struck out 6. 1 run, which was unearned, in 6 2/3. 1-2 to Miner, and that bounces in front of the plate. And the count goes to 2-2. Miner put on quite a show in batting practice today. Getting them out to right field. The 2-2 on the way, and he goes around to the pitch in the dirt. Strike 3. So Miner down on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Middlebrook. And that will bring up the left fielder, Rob Stratton. Fans, come on out. April 18th, Sunday at 2:05 start at downtown Grizzly Stadium. It's going to be magnetic schedule giveaway sponsored by Frazee Paints for the first 10,000 fans. Now here's Stratton, right-handed batter, and he goes around to the pitch in the dirt for a strike. 0-1 the count. Those have become big collector's items over the years, the magnetic schedules. Those are pretty easy to hold on to. Just stick them on the refrigerator or onto your office cabinet. And boom, it's right there. Well, we'll be giving away 10,000 of them next Sunday. Here is Stratton again, and he takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. With the shortstop, Davy Cruz, waiting on deck. Outfield deep and straight away. Middlebrook working quickly, and the right-hander comes back. Stratton takes up and away. 2-1 the count. So we have a lot of fun coming up on the opening homestand. Fireworks opening night, the Jerome Williams bobblehead dolls on Saturday, and magnetic schedule giveaway on Sunday. Then we have a 12:05 start, the business person special, on Monday. We have a couple of 12:05 starts this year. 2 balls, 1 strike, and a breaking ball. Stratton takes strike 2 on the inside corner. 2-2 the count. Stratton a wide open stance from the right side. Middlebrook again comes right back as 2-2, and Stratton swings and loops this one out in the shallow right field. On comes Gordon, and it falls in for a base hit. Now Stratton, since striking out 7 straight times to open the season, has come through with 3 straight singles. one last night and two so far tonight. All of them have been to right field. So he is aboard with one out, and that will bring up the shortstop, Davy Cruz. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He flied to right field back in the first inning. A 1-0 lead for the Grizzlies. We're in the top of the fourth inning. We're at first base is Stratton, a very small lead, and Cruz swings and lifts one foul right side. No ball right. Tomorrow here in Salt Lake, we'll see Chris Buchek, former #1 pick by the Anaheim Angels. He'll oppose Noah Lowry, who was also one of the top picks by the Giants back in 2001. The 0-1 pitch to Cruz, and that is low inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then Kevin Pickford will pitch the first game of the series on Monday in Yuma. All those games in Yuma will be at 7:05. Yuma is the same time as Fresno this time of year. Infield a double play depth. The 1-1 pitch. Cruz swings this one foul right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With the second baseman, David Doster, waiting on deck. We're talking before about Anaheim, now in its 4th year of affiliation here in Salt Lake. For many years, the Angels had their AAA team in Edmonton. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count with 1 out. There goes Stratton. The pitch to Cruz, swung on a miss, strike 3, throw to second. Goes off of Stratton, out toward a shortstop. Amazica picks it up, will throw to third, but Stratton slides in safely. A good awareness there by Stratton to follow that ball. Saw that it deflected toward shortstop. Amazica was over near the bag and had a long way to try and get that ball over near the second base bag, that is. Gregorio will be charged with an error, gives Stratton a stolen base. We're not going to say that a lot this year. Cruz strikes out swinging and charged Gregorio, the catcher, with an error. Now, man at third with 2 out, and here is Doster for the second time tonight. He grounded a shortstop back in the second inning. And the Fresno Grizzlies holding on to a 1-0 lead. Stratton last year 6 stolen bases with Albuquerque, but not a guy that the Grizzlies are going to count on to be a speed demon. But he is at third, and here is Doster. 1-0 Fresno. Top of the fourth, and David Doster swings and fouls one off to the backstop. No balls, 1 strike. Anaheim Angels with their AA club in Little Rock, Arkansas, part of the Texas League. Single A, Rancho Cucamonga of the California League. The Midwest League is Cedar Rapids. And those are the 4 full-season affiliates Anaheim has. The 0-1 pitch, Doster swings, grounds on the shortstop, right at Amazica. Alfredo up with it, and he throws out Doster to end the top of the fourth. No runs, a hit, an error, a man left. We head to the bottom of the fourth from Salt Lake. It's 1-0 Fresno on KAAT 103.1. The one for the sounds of Sinatra. Folks, the Grizzlies have fun waiting for you at the ballpark this season. Every Monday home game, it's Monday Madness presented by David Sunflower Seeds. For just $12, you get 2 field-level seeds, 2 hot dogs, 2 sodas, and 2 bags of David's Sunflower Seeds. Offer excludes July 5th. For more information, call the Grizzlies at 559-442-1994. See you at the ballpark.
So last week, Jimmy got his hair colored.
Hair color? Jimmy? Isn't that a little,
expensive? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts colors hair now, so it's completely affordable.
Well, I was leaning more towards, isn't that kind of like,
risky? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts stylists are trained in hair coloring, so they're not going to mess it up.
Well, that's great information, but I mean, isn't coloring your hair considered somewhat, like,
permanent? That's what I thought. But Jimmy says Supercuts can do it so it'll last till it grows out or till it gradually fades out. And he says they love it.
Hold the telescope. Ladies love it?
That's what Jimmy says.
Hey, didn't we pass the Supercut factor of the waist?
I think so.
Hair coloring at Supercuts. You know how it is. Supercolor available at select locations.
Time for a change? Try Supercut's new service, Supercolor. Whether it's highlights, tips, or an all-out glazing, Supercolor is a quick, affordable way for both men and women to show their true colors. Call your local Supercuts to see if Supercolor has arrived.
Fresno 1, Salt Lake nothing. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning tonight from Salt Lake City, Utah. Doug Greenwald with you on KAAT 103.1. The one run, 3 hits, no errors for Fresno. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Salt Lake. Every Thursday home game for the Fresno Grizzlies, it's going to be Thirsty Thursday. Enjoy 12-ounce Miller products and 12-ounce Coca-Cola products for only $1 every Thursday home game. Our first Thursday home game will be April 22nd against Edmonton, a 7:05 start. Well, here's Rob Quinlan to lead it off, and he swings and drives one toward left field. Stratton on the run, and the ball goes past him, backed up by Haynes. Quinlan on his way to second base, and he'll make it safely standing up as Haynes' throw comes in toward the shortstop, Cruz. When we saw Stratton misplay a ball in left field the other night, which went for a triple, this one fell around his shoe tops and got past him. Haynes was in perfect backup position, but Quinlan is at second base with nobody out, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Adam Riggs. He doubled to right field back in the second inning. So Quinlan at second base, and Riggs bunts one third base side. Correa off the mound to field it, throws, and pulls Santos off the bag. Everybody is safe. Good bunt by Riggs. Correa had a long way to get to that ball. Had to hustle off the mound, barehanded, and threw, but Santos had to come off the bag. Salt Lake, just like that, runners at the corners with nobody out, and here is the right fielder, Brian Gordon. Quinlan's hit will be ruled a double all the way. And Riggs will get credit for a sacrifice, but charge an error to the pitcher, Correa. The runners at the corners for Gordon, and Correa's pitch. Gordon takes up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. I was talking earlier about Gordon, who was born in West Point, New York. That's the home of the United States Military Academy. But he hardly remembers. He moved when he was about 2. Runners late at the corners, and the pitch to Gordon. Fastball misses high. 2 balls, no strikes. His father was working for the Army, based in West Point, and then had a transfer. So Gordon has not really, in fact, he hasn't been back to West Point since. 2 balls, no strikes, and he takes at the knees for a strike, 2-1. But has heard a lot of great things about how beautiful West Point, New York is, and has heard about how great a setting Michie Stadium is on a Saturday afternoon in the fall for football, and would love to get back there. Runners lead to the corners. 2 balls and a strike. Correa kicks, and the pitch to Gordon misses up and away. 3-1, so Correa now a pitch away from loading the bases with nobody out. That's the 3rd straight game that the Grizzlies have allowed a sacrifice bunt, which has also turned into an error. 3-1 the count. Runners at the corners. Eye on the pitch. Gordon swings and fouls one back toward the PA booth again. Strike 2, 3-2, with the center fielder, Barry Wesson, waiting on deck. Quinlan at third, Riggs at first. Riggs, good speed, being held on by Santos. 1-0 Fresno. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the payoff pitch to Gordon, swung on, lifted foul left side. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We saw Kevin Correa pitch in the exhibition game in Fresno last year when the Giants were in town. Had an outstanding 2 innings there. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gordon swings, fouls one to the screen. We'll try to get it 3-2. 6 up, 6 down in that outing, and I had never heard of him because he had pitched just at the Giants Rookie League team in Salem Kaiser, Oregon, part of the Northwest League in 2002. And amazed many in minor league camp last year to earn him a start at Double-A. Payoff pitch to Gordon, and that is low outside, ball 4. Now Quinlan at third. Riggs moves to second. Gordon to first. And Correa in deep trouble right now. Up 1-0, but that lead is in serious jeopardy with Barry Wesson at the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight, lined back to the pitcher in the second inning. 1 run, 3 hits, an error for Fresno. No runs, 2 hits, an error for Salt Lake. The infield is back at double play depth. They'll concede the run right here. Correa would love a line drive right back at him here, or preferably a comebacker with the hopes of starting a double play. Runners at every base. The pitch to Wesson, swing and a foul ball to the screen. No balls, 1 strike. Wesson, a guy that does have considerable power. Can hit the ball to all field, 16 home runs. The most he has hit in 1 year. That was 2001 at Round Rock. The 0-1 on the way, a big swing and a miss with a breaking ball. No balls, 2 strikes. I mentioned Round Rock, the Double-A affiliate of the Houston Astros, which will be coming into this league next year. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Runners lead at every base. 1-0 Fresno, bottom of the 4th, and Correa to the plate, and Wesson swings and fouls into the screen. And we'll try it again at no balls and 2 strikes. For the designated hitter, Gary Johnson, waiting on deck. Quinlan doubled. He's at third. Riggs sacrificed, but reached first on an error. He's at second. Gordon walked. Correa to the belt. And is 0-2. And Wesson swings and a line drive into right field. A base hit. In to score comes Quinlan. And it is 1-1 as Riggs will stop at third, standing up. Gordon is second. And Wesson aboard at first with an RBI single. Well, it's got to be pretty frustrating for Correa. He had Gordon at 3-2, walked him, had Wesson at 0-2, and allows an RBI single for Wesson's first run, batted in 2004. And here comes Fresno pitching coach Ross Grimsley. Wesson last year in Salt Lake, 53 runs batted in, and then a call up to Anaheim where he drove in 3 runs. Now still nobody out, and the bases loaded. That was the theme of the 9th inning last night when Salt Lake came back to score 5 times and win the ball game. Riggs at third, Gordon at second, Wesson aboard at first. And that will bring up the designated hitter, Gary Johnson. The Fresno Bee is Central California's leading newspaper. Call 559-441-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe today. Now here is Johnson. He struck out swinging back in the second inning. One contest here in the bottom of the 4th. And again, the infield back at this stage in the game as Correa kicks and throws, and Johnson misses up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Grizzlies bullpen quiet right now, situated down the left field line. Tom Gregorio, the catcher, waiting on deck. Outfield, medium depth and straight away for Johnson, who can hit the ball to all fields. The 1-0 on the way from Correa, swinging a drive foul the opposite way toward left. 1 ball, 1 strike. Salt Lake has had a 5-run inning in each of the first 2 games of this series. Thursday night it was the 2nd inning. Last night was the 9th. And right now it looks like they're about to start something. The 1-1 on the way. Swing and a ground ball toward short. Cruz to his left, up with it, steps on second for 1, throws to first. Double play. Coming in to score is Riggs to make it 2-1 Salt Lake. But Correa more than happy to allow Salt Lake at this stage in the game to take the lead. 6-3 on the double play. No RBI for Johnson. When you ground into a double play, you do not get credit for a run batted in. Gordon, meanwhile, goes to third. So a man at third with 2 out and a 2-1 Salt Lake lead. And here is Tom Gregorio. He struck out swinging back in the 3rd inning, right-handed hitter. And Correa out of the full windup comes home, and Gregorio looks high. 1 ball, no strikes. And Brian Speck, the second baseman, waiting on deck. Correa wearing the long black sleeves, which is a good idea on a cool night like this. He delivers to Gregorio, and Tom swings and misses at a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. I was talking earlier about Gregorio, who I saw play last year in Oakland for Anaheim. Grew up and still lives in Staten Island, one of the 5 New York City boroughs. Grew up a big Yankees fan. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lead at third by Gordon, and the pitch to Gregorio is found to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gregorio went to big league camp with Anaheim this year, and then was placed on waivers, taken off the 40-man roster. Nobody claimed him, and he accepted his assignment to Salt Lake. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gordon from third, and the pitch, Gregorio looks high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But Tom went to Tottenville Prep School in Staten Island, which is a baseball power, and was teammates with St. Louis Cardinals pitcher and former Atlanta Brave hurler Jason Marquis. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-1 Salt Lake, bottom of the 4th. The delivery from Correa, fastball. Gregorio swings and misses strike 3. And he strikes out for the second time tonight, but Salt Lake gains the lead for the first time. 2 runs, 2 hits, an error, a man left. On to the 5th from Utah. Salt Lake 2, Fresno 1 on KAAT 103.1. The one were the sounds of Sinatra.
Get ready for another test. Yeah, we know you've had enough tests to last a lifetime, but this one's actually kind of fun. It's the Miller Taste Challenge. Just order a Miller Lite and a Bud Light. Then see them, smell them, and taste them. First, take a look at the color. Miller Lite has a rich golden hue. Now for smell. Don't worry, you don't have to swirl it around like some kind of wine snob. Just take a whiff. You're looking for a nice malty aroma. Finally, the most important part, take a sip. We don't need to tell you what to look for when it comes to tasting a beer. It ought to taste great, crisp, and never watered down. In other words, Miller Lite. And Miller Lite's got half the carbs of Bud Light and fewer calories. So that's it, the whole test. We think you'll prefer great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. But don't take our word for it. Try the test and see for yourself. Because at Miller, we believe there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller. Good call. Miller Lite contains 3.2 grams of carbs and 96 calories per 12 ounces. Bud Light contains 6.6 grams and 110 calories. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Looking for a great place to celebrate your birthday or team party? The Wildwood Pool and Spa at Grizzly Stadium is the place to be. Also great for bachelor parties, businesses, and family functions. The Wildwood Pool and Spa can accommodate any group from 25 to 50 people in size. Your pool admission includes a catered poolside meal, a unique way to watch Grizzlies take on the competition for all the great price of just $30 per person. Summer dates are filling fast, so cool off from the Fresno heat by calling 442-1994 to secure a spot by the pool today.
Salt Lake 2, Fresno 1. We go to the top of the 5th inning tonight from Salt Lake City, Utah. Doug Greenwald here on 103.1, The One. Salt Lake for 2 runs in the bottom to take the lead for the first time tonight. 2 runs, 3 hits, an error for the Stingers. They're on 3 hits and an error for the Fresno Grizzlies, who will be trying to come back in this ballgame for the first time tonight. Trey Lunsford, Nathan Haynes, and then the top of the order for Brian Dallimore. Face the right-hander Jason Middlebrook, who has the lead for the first time tonight. Trey popped up to the first baseman Quinlan back in the 2nd inning, right-handed hitter. Fans entertained between innings by the dancing groundskeeper. A few groundskeepers around the league that like to entertain the fans. Most people don't really pay much attention to the grounds crew between innings when they drag the infield. Here's Trey, and he takes a fastball outside, 1-0. So to get some love and attention, the groundskeepers know how to spice it up a little bit. Action for the first time in the Salt Lake bullpen. 1 ball, no strikes. Middlebrook delivers on a breaking ball to Lunsford. He looks at a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Have a right-hander warming up. I believe that's Scott Dunn, who was going to pitch last night if we had a 10th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Trey takes a high fastball. 2-1. And this could very easily be Middlebrook's final inning. Pitching the both starting pitchers on a 75 pitch limit tonight. 2 balls and a strike. Middlebrook to the plate, and Lunsford takes low and away. 3-1 now with Haynes on deck. Fans here with heavy coats and blankets to stay warm. 3 balls and a strike. And Lunsford swings in a high drive. Well hit left field. Way back. And this ball is headed to Idaho. Tremendous blast by Trey Lunsford. A home run. And the Grizzlies, just like that, have tied it at 2. On Lunsford's first homer of 2004. To go along with his second run batted in. No doubt about it. Well out to left field. Riggs and left. All he did was turn and watch it sail away. Now a 2-2 ball game here in the visitors' half of the 5th inning. That'll bring up the center fielder, Nathan Haynes. And Middlebrook's first pitch, and that is inside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Haynes struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. A 2-2 ball game. And the pitch, Nathan swings, grounds one fair down the right field line, headed past the Salt Lake bullpen, kicks around in the right field corner where it's picked up by Gordon. Haynes, who can fly around second. He is on his way to third. Here's a throw from Speck that is high, and Haynes slides in safely with a triple. Well, the Fresno Grizzlies have opened the 5th inning with a home run and now a triple. And the go-ahead run is at third with nobody out. And for the 3rd time tonight, Fresno will go to the top of its order for the 3rd baseman, Brian Dallimore. And the infield will play back. They'll concede the run right here in this 2-2 ball game, with Haynes at third base taking a small lead in foul territory. Third baseman thrower back of the bag, just off the line, and the pitch to Dallimore. High, snap throw to third, and back safely with a dive is Haynes. The throw was taken by the third baseman thrower, but off the bag. 1 ball, no strikes. Outfield medium depth and straight away. And Middlebrook's pitch to Dallimore, and that is in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. It's not often you see an inning started with a home run and then a triple. The 2 most difficult hits of the cycle in succession. We'll see if Dallimore gets a double right here. 2 balls, no strikes, and he swings and hits one foul right side. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lunsford last year homered just twice for Fresno. Keep in mind, he missed a stretch of 2.5 months with a sprained right thumb. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. We'll see if the Grizzlies try and squeeze right here with Haynes at third, and Dallimore looks at strike 2 on the outside corner, 2-2. Dallimore, a good contact hitter. Don't see Brian bunt a lot, but this would be a good combination. But with 2 strikes, the thought of Dallimore bunting not as likely, because if you bunt foul with 2 strikes, it goes in the books as a strikeout. 2-2 on the way, and he swings away and fouls one to the backstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And O'Brien's parents are listening tonight on BroadcastMonsters.com. His father, Fred, had a chance to interview last year. He was the baseball coach at UNLV for 25 years, and then spent a year in affiliated baseball, pro ball, with the Orioles AAA team in Rochester at the time as a pitching coach. 2-2 to Dallimore, swung on, ripped into right center field, a base hit. Haynes will score. Dallimore, a big turn at first. He stops there with an RBI hit, and the Grizzlies regain the lead, 3-2 Fresno on Brian Dallimore's second single tonight. They'll give him a run batted in. For Brian, that is his second RBI here in the series, and that'll bring out the Salt Lake manager, Mike Brumley. Mentioned there is action in the Salt Lake bullpen. And Scott Dunn, who was warming up last night in that 9th inning and never got in the ball game because Salt Lake won the game in the home half of the ninth. Could see some action here. The entire infield in on the mound, and that'll be all for Middlebrook. Now we have a pitching change. We're in the top of the 5th. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. Back in a moment to tell you about Scott Dunn on KAT 103.1, The One.
Welcome to Hank's Kitchen, the cooking show for guys. Today's breakfast, leftover pizza. Step 1, open the fridge. Step 2, pull out the pizza box from last week. But try not to knock over the empty can of beer. You're going to need that later. Step 3, look at the pizza. Is it shrunken, dehydrated, and curled up like a witch's boot? If so, you might need to use the microwave. Now, sometimes the pizza is beyond resuscitation. To test it, tap it against a table. If it makes this noise, just go to Carl's Jr. instead for a low-carb breakfast bowl. There's eggs, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, and it's all in a bowl. As for the pizza, have it later with that half-empty beer. Just pretend it's a really big cracker.
The low-carb breakfast bowl with only 5 grams of carbs. New at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Price and participation may vary.
Community Medical Centers is proud to give you all a place to bring your creaks, aches, pains, sprains, and groans. The new state-of-the-art Community Sports Center, conveniently located in North Fresno, offers 12,000 square feet dedicated to fitness training and the latest outpatient rehabilitation therapies. Ask your doctor about the place that every body needs, the Community Sports Center. Scott Dunn on the pitch for the Salt Lake Stingers. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Fresno has regained the lead at 3-2 with 2 runs here in the top of the 5th. And Dunn, who will make his first appearance of this year, native of San Antonio, and then went on to the University of Texas, formerly in the Reds organization, and has made it as high as AAA, now into his 6th year of pro ball. And he will face Francisco Santos. And Brian Dallimore, the runner at first. The Grizzlies a home run, triple, and single to start the top of the 5th inning. Lunsford, the leadoff homer. Haynes followed with a triple, and Dallimore singled Haynes home. He is at first. Well, Santos stands in 0 for 2. He has popped a third, has grounded a second. Grizzlies with 6 hits tonight. Scored 1 in the first, and Salt Lake came back with 2 in the 4th, but the Grizzlies now 2 in the 5th. Now here is Santos. His first pitch is low outside. 1 ball, no strikes. The right fielder, Todd Linden, waiting on deck. Dallimore, the runner at first base. 1 steal so far on the young campaign. Outfield well around to the left for Santos, who can hit the ball to all fields. And Dunn's pitch. Santos swings, ground ball, right field, base hit. Dallimore will take the turn at second. He'll stop there. Up with the ball quickly as Gordon gets it back in toward the shortstop, Amezaga, who was playing in near the bag at second. Well, Francisco Santos has his first hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. 4 straight hits to start the 5th inning for the Grizzlies. Now with 7 in the ball game, and that'll bring up Linden for the 3rd time. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out looking and has popped to second base. Dunn wearing the short sleeves on this Saturday evening in northern Utah. Does have experience pitching professionally in the Central Valley. Spent part of a year in Stockton with the Reds organization. There is Linden. He shows bunt and takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. Back in 2001, got into 10 ball games, and the franchise was known as Mudville, the Mudville 9. But they, back in 2002, switched the name back to the Stockton Ports. Dallimore at second, Santos at first. Good speed on the bases. Dunn's 1-0 to Linden, and Todd takes that as low. 2 balls, no strikes. Got a very nice email last night during the game from Todd's grandparents listening up in the Seattle area. We look forward to seeing them this year on our trips to Tacoma and Portland. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Thrower even with the bag at third. Dallimore at second, Santos at first. Outfield straightaway, not terribly deep. And Dunn's 2-0 to Linden, and Todd looks low outside. 3 balls, no strikes with the designated hitter, Damon Miner, on deck. And we'll see if Linden has the green light right here. Dunn a pitch away from loading the bases. Something he does not want to do, and Linden well aware of that. Ready to tee off any moment. 3 balls, no strikes, and Linden taking all the way, and that is low, ball 4. And that loads the bases. Dallimore to third, Santos to second, Linden to first, and here is Damon Miner in this 3-2 ball game in favor of Fresno. He has walked and has struck out swinging. Middlebrook responsible for Dallimore at third. Santos and Linden the responsibility of Dunn. And now Damon Miner digs in. Outfield moves back a few steps, straight away, and Dunn to the plate, and Damon Miner takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Well, it looked like Damon was going to swing right there. His front leg, his right leg, made a big motion toward the pitcher as if he was going to swing, but ended up looking at a strike. Rob Stratton on deck. No balls, one strike. Dunn comes back. Miner swings and hits one foul right side near the Salt Lake first base dugout. And he is behind at 0-2. And really imperative here that Miner at least get a run home. The Grizzlies have a one-run lead. And Damon at least trying to get a fly ball deep enough. The infield is back at double play depth. So anything that Damon can get on the ground past the pitcher will at least result in a run. More than likely will result in a run. No balls, 2 strikes to count, nobody out. Top of the 5th. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. And Dunn to the belt. The right-hander kicks and throws, and Miner takes up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miner signed to a minor league contract by the Giants back in January. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, and he swings and a line drive to second, and that is caught by Specht, and the runners retreat. A good catch by the second baseman, Brian Specht. That's one of those that could have been a triple play. The runner at second, Santos, was taking off toward third. The runner at first, Linden, heading toward second, and then Specht caught that ball, and the runners hustled back to their respective bases. Well, that is the first out here in the 5th, and now Stratton steps in. He is 2 for 2 tonight. A couple of singles, including an RBI hit back in the 1st. And Scott Dunn, his pitch, Rob Stratton takes that as high. 1 ball, no strikes. And now it's up to Stratton to at least get a run home right here. Grizzlies do have a couple of runs home, but a chance to really add to the lead. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Runners lead at every base, and Dunn to the plate, and Stratton swings and misses at a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davey Santos sweating on deck. Stratton, 32 home runs last year. Finished second in the Pacific Coast League behind Graham Kuntz of Sacramento, who had 34. The 1-1, and that is a strike on the outside corner, taken by Stratton, 1-2. Well, right here is where games are won and lost. Granted, we are very early in this one, in the top of the 5th, but a chance to give the Grizzlies some breathing room. Runners at every base, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch, and Stratton swings and misses at a breaking ball in the dirt, and he strikes out. And the bases remain loaded with 2 out. Now it's up to Davy Cruz. First strikeout for Dunn. And now Cruz digs in for the 3rd time tonight. He is 0 for 2. He has flied to right and has struck out swinging. 3 runs, 7 hits in air for Fresno. 2 runs, 3 for Salt Lake. Outfield medium depth and straight away. And Scott Dunn to the plate. Davy Cruz takes low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Scoreboard here at Franklin Covey Field, located out in right field. One ball, no strikes. Runners lead at every base. The pitch from Dunn. Cruz swings and a chopper to third. Right over, he'll go to the second baseman, Specht, to get the force on Linden. And Scott Dunn gets out of what could have been major damage here in the 5th inning. Grizzlies settle for 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and they leave the bases loaded. We're halfway through this one tonight from Utah. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2 on KAAT 103.1. the one for CNN News.
Hey, Grizzly fans, make sure you get the most complete Grizzlies coverage by subscribing daily to the Fresno Bee, and we'll cap it off with a cap. If you are a baseball fan, you won't want to miss the Bee's in-depth stories, columns, and box scores that appear every day in the Bee. In addition to the complete coverage of your hometown AAA team, you will also receive all the top local news, entertainment, and advertisements. Call today to subscribe to the Bee for 3 months. Mention this ad, and we will send you a free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap. Call 411-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe and receive your free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap today.
Baseball season is here, and it's time to book your picnic in the Miller Pavilion at Grizzlies Stadium. Watch your Fresno Grizzlies battle the competition in the best stadium in minor league baseball. The Miller Pavilion provides a great environment for your company or church picnic, and your admission includes your seat and a fully catered meal. Prices start as low as $21.50, and availability is limited. So call 442-1994 to speak with a Grizzlies representative today to book your event.
What's my Subway salad? Well, it's hard for a farmer man to choose. Yes, my goat friend, the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach is my favorite, with grilled chicken strips and tasty toppers on a bed of 100% baby spinach. It's Atkins Friendly. So's the classic club salad made fresh under my sniffer. Too bad Atkins ain't for goats. Watch your language. My Subway salad, any of the new Subway fresh salads. It's what I eat when I want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
We're halfway through this ball game tonight from Salt Lake City, Utah. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. Doug Greenwald with you on KAAT 103.1. The one. 3 runs, 7 hits in air for the Grizzlies. 3 hits in air for the Stingers. And Brian Specht to lead it off, facing the right-hander Kevin Correa. And his first pitch misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And Correa, once again, a 1-run lead to work with. And for Salt Lake, you're feeling pretty good right now that you're only down a run. Correa out of the full windup, and his 1-0 pitch. Specht swings on a foul ball left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grizzlies had the ball loaded, nobody out, 2 runs in, and couldn't do anything after that with Minor, Stratton, and Cruz. A line out, a strikeout, and a fielder's choice. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield shallow around toward left. Pitch to Specht. Correa misses up and away. 2 balls and a strike. And Jason Middlebrook leaves, going 4 innings plus tonight, giving up 6 hits, 3 runs all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 4. 2-1 the count, and Correa comes right back, and a fastball fouled off left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Correa drafted out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. There's a pretty good baseball player out of there about 25 years ago by the name of Ozzie Smith. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Correa again out of the full windup. And the pitch to Specht, and Brian takes that as low. Full count now at 3-2. Correa spent 3 years at Cal Poly. Not only did Ozzie Smith go there, so did Mike Krukow. Longtime Giant pitcher, now Giant broadcaster. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the payoff pitch. Specht swings and misses at a fastball in the outer half of the plate, and he is out for the second time of the night. 5 strikeouts for Correa. And now for the third time tonight, Salt Lake will go to the top of its order for the shortstop, Alfredo Amezaga. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. Home half of the 5th inning. And Correa from the first base side of the rubber comes home, and Amezaga swings, pops this one up. Third base side, foul territory. Dallimore over near the Grizzlies dugout, cannot get it. No balls and a strike. And Correa, 5 strikeouts tonight. His season high last year was 10. That was in the first game he ever pitched for the Grizzlies at home against Iowa back on July 21st. No balls and a strike to count to Alfredo. And Kevin Correa delivers, and Amezaga shows one, takes up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Correa, a guy that the Giants are keeping a close eye on if they need a starter. Onto the full lineup again, Correa, and his 1-1 pitch, Amezaga takes. Strike two on the inside corner. 1-2 the count. No allowed. We'll see tomorrow. Better believe the Giants know where to reach him if need be. Kirk Reeder gets the call tonight for the big club in San Diego. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Correa to the plate. Fastball up and away to Amezaga. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And once again, Barry Bonds will attempt to hit Major League homer number 660. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Correa kicks and delivers. Fastball hit to third, but right at Dallimore, playing perfectly well off the bag, and he throws across to get the speedy Amezaga. 2 down. Alfredo now 0 for 2 tonight in this 3-2 game in favor of Fresno, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Jake Thrower. Hey, Grizzlies fans, have you heard? Your neighborhood Subway restaurants have delicious salads, like the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach, or the classic Club Salad. And Subway salads are made fresh right in front of you. So head to a greater Fresno area Subway restaurant today. Subway, eat fresh. Here is Thrower, and Correa throws a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. So tonight, Bonds will try and hit number 660 off Brian Lawrence. No balls, 1 strike. Correa, he comes right back, and Thrower takes, and that misses just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lawrence pitched opening day for San Diego, got the win against the Dodgers, striking out 3 in 5 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a fastball foul to the backstop by Thrower. 1-2. Last night, the Giants had the night off, and they'll have their home opener Monday against Milwaukee, where they will see Matt Kinney. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Out of the windup is Correa, and the pitch Thrower takes. That is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I wonder if Felipe Alou will play Bonds tomorrow. If he doesn't get the record tonight, keep him out a day, and then at home would more than likely break it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Thrower, swinging a ground ball up the middle. The second baseman, Doster Fardo, is right, throws, and what a scoop at first by Santos. Thrower is out. David Doster tonight, 2 outstanding plays at second base. That ball was ticketed right up the middle, and Doster able to get it and throw out Thrower. Salt Lake, for the first time since the first, goes in order. We go to the 6th. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2 on KAT 103.1. The 1 for Big Band Weekend. The Fresno Grizzlies have a full lineup in store for you opening weekend. On Saturday, 7:05, it'll be Jerome Williams bobblehead night for the first 2,500 fans, sponsored by Mervyn. The weekend is capped on Sunday, a 2:05 matinee. The first 10,000 fans will receive Crazy Paint Fresno Grizzlies magnetic schedules. Tickets are still on sale for all 3 games. Call the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball, there is nothing minor about it.
Welcome to Hank's Kitchen, the cooking show for guys. Today's breakfast, leftover pizza. Step 1, open the fridge. Step 2, pull out the pizza box from last week. But try not to knock over that half-empty can of beer. You're going to need that later. Step 3, look at the pizza. Is it shrunken, dehydrated, and curled up like a witch's boot? If so, you might need to use the microwave. Now, sometimes the pizza is beyond resuscitation. To test it, tap it against a table. If it makes this noise, just go to Carl's Jr. instead for a low-carb breakfast bowl. There's eggs, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, and it's all in a bowl. As for the pizza, have it later with that half-empty beer. Just pretend it's a really big cracker.
The low-carb breakfast bowl with only 5 grams of carbs. New at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Price and participation may vary.
We go to the top of the sixth inning tonight here at Franklin Covey Field in Salt Lake City, Utah. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. And once again, how amazing baseball is. David Doster, who made an outstanding play in the first inning, ended up leading off the second inning. So he makes an amazing play to end the fifth, and he leads off the sixth. Facing Scott Dunn, right-handed pitcher. Facing the right-handed batting Doster, and David looks outside. 1 ball, no strikes. It'll be Doster, Lunsford, and Haynes, bottom third of the Fresno order here in the sixth inning. He swings and dribbles one solely to the right side. Quinlan from first base, fields it and throws to Scott Dunn covering. And Dunn looked like he slipped on the bag, but held on to the baseball. And that is the first out. And Doster retired for the third time tonight. That'll bring up the catcher, Trey Lunsford. So that's one of the baseball advantages that seems like it never fails. The guy that makes a great defensive play to end the inning leads off the next, or the player that's put in for defensive purposes, the first ball hit will be right to him. Well, here's Lunsford, who hit one to the left field playland his last time up, and he takes outside 1-0. The Grizzlies down by a run in the fifth, leading off. Lunsford hit one out to left field to tie the game when Fresno went on to take the lead later in the inning on an RBI single by Dallimore. 3-2 Fresno, top of the sixth. 1 ball, no strikes, and Dunn to the plate, and Trey takes inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants did not score in the first inning in San Diego. Barry Bonds was up with runners on, but ended up making it out. 2 balls, no strikes, and Trey takes low. 3-0. They're talking about the possibility of maybe Felipe Alou not playing Barry Bonds tomorrow if he doesn't get the record tonight up to 660. 3 balls, no strikes. And a fastball from Dunn taken for a strike on the inside corner, 3-1. Back in 1974, Bowie Kuhn, the then commissioner, made the Braves play Hank Aaron in Cincinnati. Lunsford takes a fastball, and that is inside, ball 4. So he draws a walk. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Nathan Haynes. Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth's home run record on the first day of the season in 1974, and then had a couple of more games in Cincinnati, so he could have broken it there. But Bowie Kuhn made manager Eddie Matthews play Hank Aaron in Cincy. Now here is Haynes, left-handed batter, and he looks at a fastball for a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Aaron did not homer the rest of that series, and then waited till he got home to Atlanta, and that's when he greeted Al Downing with the record-breaking 715th home run. No balls and a strike, and a swing and a one-hopper to short. Grabbed by Ameza, goes to Speck at second for 1 on to first, not in time. And Haynes is safe. Haynes runs exceptionally well. Lunsford is forced at second, 6-4, 2 out. Haynes at first, and now for the fourth time tonight, Fresno will go to the top of its order for the third baseman, Brian Dallimore. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. Visitors half of the sixth inning. Now, I don't know if Commissioner Seelig is putting in an order to Felipe Alou to play Barry Bonds. There is Dallimore 2 for 3, a couple of singles and an RBI tonight. I think it'd be a nice if Bonds doesn't get it tonight to not play him tomorrow, and at least give the folks in San Francisco a chance to look forward to seeing history on opening day. Laid at first base by Haynes. Quinlan holds him on the pitch to Dallimore. High fastball foul to the screen. No balls, 1 strike. You know, all the media attention surrounding Bonds and home run number 660. Imagine how it'll be later in the year, and Barry should hit at least 40 home runs this year. How it will be surrounding his 700th home run. No balls and a strike, and Brian swings and fouls into the backstop. 0-2 the count. Bonds had a chance to tie the record against Andy Pettit the other night in Houston. But Andy Pettit placed on the disabled list today with a strained left elbow. Injury occurred when Pettit was at bat the other night. Checked his swing and hurt his elbow. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Haynes at first, and Dunn throws over to first, and Nathan back safely with a dive. Now the Astros called up a pitcher from New Orleans, Brandon Back. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dunn to the plate, and Ballimore swings at a high fastball, fouls into the screen again. No balls, 2 strikes. So we'll see how that will affect the Astros. All the money they put into Andy Pettit in the offseason. Pettit ended up with a loss the other night against the Giants. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Francisco Santos, the first baseman, waiting on deck. Tomorrow, a day game will be on the air, 12:45 Fresno time. 1 o'clock Fresno time, first pitch. The 0-2 with Haynes going, taken low outside, and Gregorio unable to get a grip on the ball. And Haynes steals his first base of the year. So he is at second base with 2 out, and the count to Ballimore at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So we'll see if that comes back to hurt the Stingers right there. Now a base hit. Give the Grizzlies another run. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2, top of the 6th. And a fastball to Ballimore, misses up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Action for the first time tonight in the Fresno bullpen. Looks like right-hander Mike Crudale, the only non-pitcher for Fresno this year who has yet to see action. The former Cardinal and Brewer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Big lead at second base by Haynes. And now Dunn steps off the rubber. And now it looks like action in the Salt Lake bullpen. A hint of daylight still here in Salt Lake. 2-2 on the way to Ballimore. Popped up foul right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I read the other day that Hank Aaron does not plan to be present when and if Barry Bonds approaches his record, the 755 home run record, most ever in Major League history. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brian swings and a drive out toward left center field, but Wesson will be there in the gap to make the catch. Grizzlies in the 6th, no runs, no hits, a man left. We head to the home half of the 6th. It remains 3-2 Fresno on KAAT 103.1, the one for Yosemite High football. Community Medical Centers is proud to give you all a place to bring your creaks, aches, pains, sprains, and groans. The new state-of-the-art community sports center, conveniently located north Fresno, offers 12,000 square feet dedicated to fitness training and the latest outpatient rehabilitation therapies. Ask your doctor about the place that every body needs, the Community Sports Center. Who let the dogs out? The Fresno Grizzlies will on Tuesday night, April 20th. It'll be 50-cent hot dog night at downtown Grizzly Stadium, sponsored by Evergood Fine Foods. The game will start at 7:05 against the Edmonton Trappers. While we can't promise a hot night at the park, we can promise a hot dog at a time. Grizzlies baseball, there's nothing minor about it. Do you like great bargains? Enjoy online auctions? Check out B-Link, the Valley's largest local online auction. This is your chance to bid on hundreds of items from local retailers. First, log on to FresnoBee.com/B-Link. That's FresnoBee.com/BEELINK and register anytime beginning April 12th for your chance to preview items up for bid. Check out the merchandise you're interested in at the store's location. Then, look for the product guide in your Fresno Bee starting Sunday, April 18th. But the real fun begins Tuesday, April 20th, when you start bidding. The Fresno Bee's online auction. Bid online and save. Fresno 3, Salt Lake 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th from Franklin Covey Field in Salt Lake City, Utah. Doug Greenwald with you on KAT 103.1, the one. And the new one for Fresno on the mound is the right-hander Mike Crudale. Crudale makes his Giants minor league system debut. 24th round pick by the Cardinals in 1999, a Bay Area product, went to Santa Clara and grew up in the East Bay in Danville. We'll face Rob Quinlan to lead it off, right-handed batter. And Crudale's first pitch of 2004 is high, ball 1-0. A good outing tonight for Kevin Correa. Went 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Crudale's 1-0 pitch to Quinlan, swinging a line drive to center, but right at Haynes, who drops the ball right around his shoe tops, and Quinlan is aboard. Looked like Nathan Haynes had that one lined up, reached down around his shoe tops, and the ball scooted off his glove, and he's going to be charged with an error. And Quinlan on once again. He doubled and scored back in the 4th. So 1 on, nobody out, and here's the go-ahead run. Adam Riggs. He has doubled, sacrificed, and scored. Quinlan at first. And Crudale's pitch to Riggs, swung on, lifted high in the air. Center field, a long run for Linden, still going back. This ball is over his head, 1 hop to the wall. Mike Brumley is going to wave Rob Quinlan to the plate, and he will score easily standing up. And Riggs is at third with a triple. And just like that, we are tied at 3. Linden really had no chance with that one. Ball just kept on carrying well over his head. And Quinlan was off on contact and kept right on chugging to the plate. So a 3-3 ball game, and now the go-ahead run just 90 feet away with nobody out. That's Riggs' second hit tonight. Got a double and now a triple. And now Gordon stands in 0 for 1 with a walk. And he takes low and in from Crudale. 1 ball, no strikes. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Fresno. 3 runs, 4 hits, an error for Salt Lake. The infield is back. They'll give the Stingers a run right here. The 1-0 on the way, low and in, 2-0. Crudale was acquired from the Brewers organization in spring training. Actually was released, but signed by the Giants. Pitched with both the Cardinals and Brewers last year. 2 balls, no strikes. Riggs at third, and Gordon swings and pops this one up. Foul territory, third base side, toward the Fresno bullpen. Ballamore, the third baseman, cannot get it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Got into 49 games 2 seasons ago with St. Louis, did Crudale. 2-1 to Ken, to Gordon. Reached on a walk back in the 4th inning. A 3-3 contest here in the bottom of the 6th. So the Stingers in prime position to take the lead right here. Outfield around to the left. 2 balls and a strike. Crudale, a look over at third, and the pitch. Swing and a drive in the left field. Stratton drifts back, and he will make the catch. But Riggs tags from third. He will score easily standing up. And Salt Lake regains the lead now, 4-3 Stingers. On a sacrifice fly, run batted in for Brian Gordon. That is his second run batted in of 2004. So the 3 batters who have faced Crudale have hit fly balls to center, right, and now left. And it's produced a couple of runs. Here is West with an RBI single back in the 4th. 4-3 Stingers. Home half of the 6th inning, and Crudale's pitch, breaking ball, strike 1 call on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. It's like Derek Turnbow warming up for Salt Lake in the right field pen. No balls, 1 strike. Crudale delivers. Wesson swings and misses at a fastball. 0-2 the count. Talking about Crudale going to Santa Clara. Longtime Fresno resident. Dirty Al Gallagher, former Giant third baseman, also from Santa Clara University. The 0-2 pitch popped up out on the shallow right. The second baseman, Doster, goes out for it. And the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Gary Johnson. Al Gallagher was the first ever number 1 pick by the Giants back in the mid-60s. And then later settled in Fresno, where he was a middle school teacher. And now is the manager of a Northern League team, Independent League ball club in Kansas City, Kansas, which will get underway in May. Here's Johnson. He's 0 for 2, and he swings this one high in the air in the center field. But Nathan Haynes will be there as he drifts over toward left center to make the catch. But the Stingers in the 6th score twice. 1 hit, 1 error, no one left. On to the 7th. 4-3 now, Salt Lake on KAAT 103.1, the one for CNN News.
So I go to hang out with my friend Jen the other day, and I get stuck in the lobby of her apartment building because Jen's line is busy and I have no one to buzz me in. So there I am between the 2 glass doors, and I notice, for the first time ever, that there are 2 stacks of Yellow Page directories. Right there in front of the mailboxes is a stack of Yellow Book Yellow Pages and a stack of that other book by the phone company. Yuck! Who wants anything from the phone company? So I started thinking, why are there 2 stacks of Yellow Pages? First, I called my friend Kathy, and I said, did you know there were 2 kinds of Yellow Pages? And Kathy goes, no, but did you ever see Yellow Book's menus? They've got a ton of restaurants in there. And then I called my mom, and I said, did you know there were 2 kinds of Yellow Pages? And my mom goes, no, Candace, but I know Yellow Book has all the businesses I need to redo my home. So I'm thinking, if everyone's so into Yellow Book, how come there are 2 stacks of Yellow Pages? I mean, who needs that other book anyway? Not me.
Smart business owners advertising Yellow Book, not that other book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
In store for a hot, long summer in the Valley? Looking for somewhere that will quench your thirst? Then head to downtown Grizzlies Stadium for every home Thursday game. It'll be Thirsty Thursday. Enjoy 12-ounce Miller products and 12-ounce Coca-Cola products for just $1. That's right, just $1 for every Thursday home game. Grizzlies baseball. There's nothing minor about it. Head to the 7th inning tonight from Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3, and the new Stingers pitcher is right-hander Derek Turnbow. 4 runs, 4 hits, an error for Salt Lake, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Fresno. Well, Scott Dunn, an outstanding job tonight in middle relief. The Grizzlies had a chance in the top of the 5th to really break it open. They had scored twice and still had the bases loaded with nobody out and couldn't score after that. And Dunn able to keep it just a 1-run deficit for Salt Lake. Going 2 innings tonight, allowing 1 hit, no runs, walked 2, and struck out 1. Gives way to Turnbow, who pitched here the other night, going a scoreless inning, giving up a couple of hits. And Francisco Santos to lead it off. He'll be followed by Todd Linden and Damon Miner, 2-3-4, to face the right-hander, who pitched a couple of games at Anaheim last year. Francisco Santos 1 for 3 tonight. He singled to right field back in the 5th inning. Third baseman thrower even with the bag. And the pitch on the way to Santos, and that is low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Now, both teams tonight have had 1-run leads twice. As Turnbow's pitch is low and in. 2-0. The Grizzlies have had a 1-0 lead in a 3-2 lead. Salt Lake has had a 2-1 lead and now a 4-3 lead. And now Santos to try and get this ball game tied again, or at least get aboard with Linden on deck. The 2-0 on the way and a fastball taken at the knees for a strike from Turnbow. 2 balls, 1 strike. Both bullpens quiet right now. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch from Turnbow, swinging a drive into right field. Well hit. Gordon goes back to the warning track and in front of the Sinclair gasoline billboard, right in front of that green dinosaur. He makes the catch. 1 out. Well, Santos gave that one a ride, but not well enough. That'll bring up the right fielder, Todd Linden. The Fresno Bee is Central California's leading newspaper. Call 559-441-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe today. Todd Linden is 0 for 2 with a walk. Switch hitter bats left-handed. 4-3 Salt Lake, top of the 7th, and Turnbow's pitch curve. Linden swings and misses, no balls and a strike. Turnbow has been in the Angels system since 2000, originally in the Phillies organization, where he was a fifth-round pick. 0-1 on the way, and Linden takes strike 2 on the outside corner, 0-2. Grew up in Tennessee. No balls, 2 strikes to count to Todd Linden. Damon Miner on deck. Outfield deep and straight away. 0-2 pitch, swing, and a little looper off center field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Picked up by the center fielder Weston, and Linden, the tying run, is aboard with 1 out, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Damon Miner. Well, I know this might come as a shock to most, but the Detroit Tigers will not go undefeated this year. Got off to a 4-0 start, but the Minnesota Twins made sure of that with a 10-5 win today at Comerica Park. Brad Radke gets the win, beat Jason Johnson. It was Johnson who pitched the shutout on opening night in Toronto. So here's Miner, and he takes inside 1-0. 5 different Twins homer today. First time that's happened for Minnesota since 2000. Jose Offerman, Henry Blanco, Corey Koski, Luis Rivas, and Lou Ford all went deep. Blanco, in fact, went deep twice. 1 ball, no strikes. Linden good speed at first, and Miner well out in front of a changeup, swings and misses. 1-1 to count. Well, Miner, probably the most important at bat of the night back in the 5th inning. He was up with the bases loaded and nobody out. And a chance to really do some damage. Instead, lined to second base. Couldn't get anyone in. And neither could Stratton or Cruz follow him. And then the tying run at first base. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3. Top of the 7th inning. Infield a double play depth. And Turnbow to the plate. Miner swings and pops this one up on the infield. Right at the second baseman's spec. There was a couple of steps to his right toward the bag at second and makes the catch. 2 out. Linden back to first, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Rob Stratton. Craig Monroe homered for Detroit. His first this season. Tigers were down 6-0 at one point. Did make it 6-5 Minnesota, but the Twins able to pull away after that. Stratton tonight is 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a strikeout. And he swings and rips one. That catch by the third baseman thrower moving to his left side, retired. Outstanding catch by the third baseman, Jake Thrower. Stratton hit that very, very hard. For the Grizzlies in the 7th, no runs, a hit, and a man left. Stretch time from Salt Lake. Stingers 4, Grizzlies 3 on KAAT 103.1. The one for the sounds of Sinatra with Sid.
Hey, Grizzly fans, make sure you get the most complete Grizzlies coverage by subscribing daily to the Fresno Bee, and we'll cap it off with a cap. If you are a baseball fan, you won't want to miss the Bee's in-depth stories, columns, and box scores that appear every day in the Bee. In addition to the complete coverage of your hometown AAA team, you will also receive local news, entertainment, and advertisements. Call today to subscribe to the Bee for 3 months. Mention this ad, and we will send you a free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap. Call 411-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe and receive your free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap today.
Grizzlies mini ticket plans are now on sale. You can choose from a 12-game plan, which includes opening night, 5 giveaway nights, fireworks, and special appearances by the Philly Fanatics, Raiderettes, and Berserk. Or choose the All-Star 18-game plan, which gives you your choice of the day or days of the week which suit you best. That's right. You get to choose your plan. Contact the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball. There's nothing minor about it.
What's my Subway salad? Well, it's hard for a farmer man to choose. Yes, my goat friend, the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach is my favorite, with grilled chicken strips and tasty toppers on a bed of 100% baby spinach. It's Atkins Friendly. So's the classic club salad made fresh under my sniffer. Too bad ain't for goats. What's your language? My Subway salad? Any of the new Subway fresh salads. It's what I eat when I want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
Tom Gregorio leads off the bottom of the seventh inning, and he swings and misses at a curveball for Mike Crudell. No balls, one strike. 4-3 Salt Lake, home half of the seventh inning. Gregorio, Speck, and in the top of the order for Amezaga to face the right-hander Mike Crudell, who delivers, and Gregorio, while out in front of a curve, swings and misses. No balls, two strikes. Gregorio has struck out swinging twice tonight, both against Correa, who will get a no decision this evening. Crudell came on in the sixth inning, allowed a couple of runs as the right-hander is set, and now delivers. Gregorio swings and pokes one foul to the right. No balls, two strikes. 4 runs, 4 hits, and error for the Stingers. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Grizzlies. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. We're mentioning Gregorio, who grew up in New York, a big Yankee fan, but went to college in Alabama at Troy State University. Facing the former Santa Clara Bronco and Crudell. The 0-2, Gregorio swings and drives this one down the left field line, but that is a foul ball past the Fresno bullpen. No balls, two strikes. Talking to a scout with the Tigers before the ball game tonight, and he was talking about how excited, even though he wasn't there, but from what he heard from some of the other members of the Tigers front office, that town was when the Tigers arrived home after sweeping Toronto in anticipation of their home opener, which was a sellout. No balls, two strikes. And the pitch on the way, Gregorio jammed with it, fouls one off left side. Count holds it 0-2. I mean, that would be tremendous if the Tigers could at least be near the top of the American League Central, which is not a very strong division. When you look at the Twins and Royals and Indians and White Sox, along with the Tigers. And while it would be an extreme long shot to see Detroit even sniff the playoffs, at least it would be an exciting summer back there. The 0-2 on the way, fastball low, 1-2. So it's such a good baseball town and so much history there, which the current Tiger regime, the owner Mike Ilitch and the president, general manager Dave Dombrowski, are proud to keep involved with that club. The 1-2 on the way. Gregorio swings in. This is at a cutter down and in, and he, for the third time tonight, strikes out swinging for a strikeout for Crudell. And here's the second baseman, Brian Speck. When you look at the manager of that club, Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson is a coach for the team. Al Kaline still involved as an advisor. Lance Parrish is the bullpen coach. Juan Samuel, who played with the Tigers a few years, third base coach. Now here is Speck, and he takes up the letters for a strike, 0-1. But if the Tigers can hang around with some of those new faces, it'd be great to see that beautiful ballpark packed this summer. The 0-1 on the way to Speck, breaking ball, swung on and missed. No balls and two strikes. But Detroit losers today, 10-5. Speck 0 for 2. He is lined to short, and he has struck out swinging. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3, bottom of the seventh inning. And Crudell 2 to the plate, and Speck takes low and away, 1-2. Yankees losers again today at home, 7-3. Mark Burley, the winner for the White Sox. It's his first one of the year. The 1-2 pitch, Speck swings in. This is at a curve from Crudell, and he is out on strikes for the second time tonight. A back-to-back strikeout to start the seventh for the right-hander in Crudell. Now for the fourth time tonight. Salt Lake will go to the top of its order for the shortstop, Alfredo Amezaga. He is 0 for 2. He has hit back to the pitcher, walked, and was grounded to third. And Crudell to the set even with nobody on. Now delivers, swinging a chopper foul first base side, 0-1. Jose Valentin homered for the first time this season. Maglia Ordonez homered for the third time. The Yankees have dropped 2 of the first 3 at home to the White Sox. New York now 3-4 on the year, a half game back of the Double Rays. The 0-1 on the way, and that's a bunt pushed up along the first base side, foul, 0-2. I think we should just stop the presses today with Tampa Bay in first place going into today in sole possession of first, along with Detroit in the Central. I have a feeling, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that will not be what the standings look like at the end of September. No balls, 2 strikes the count to Alfredo Amezaga. Crudale set, trying to strike out the side, then Amezaga takes high, 1-2. Kansas City in 10 innings today beats Cleveland 7-6. Scott Sullivan the winner. Travis Hafner homered for Cleveland. Jeff Guile for Kansas City. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thrower on deck. And Crudale to the plate. And Amezaga swings and misses with an off-speed pitch. Strike 3, and Crudale does strike out the side. Salt Lake goes in order in the 7th. We head to the 8th. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3 on KAAT 103.1, The One.
Do you like great bargains? Enjoy online auctions? Check out B-Link, the Valley's largest local online auction. This is your chance to bid on hundreds of items from local retailers. First, log on to FresnoBee.com/B-Link. That's FresnoBee.com/BEELINK and register anytime beginning April 12th for your chance to preview items up for bid. Check out the merchandise you're interested in at the store's location. Then, look for the product guide in your Fresno Bee starting Sunday, April 18th. But the real fun begins Tuesday, April 20th, when you start bidding. B-Link, the Fresno Bee's online auction. Bid online and save. Monday, April 19th and Monday, May 10th. It'll be a business person special at downtown Grizzly Stadium. For just $12, you get 2 field-level tickets, 2 hot dogs, 2 bags of David's Original Sunflower Seeds, and 2 12-ounce fountain drinks. Bring a buddy, bring the whole office. Each game starts at 12:05. For more information, call the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball, there's nothing minor about it.
Have you walked into your favorite bar or restaurant lately and noticed something's missing? It's secondhand smoke. It's been at least 6 years since the bars and restaurants have gone smoke-free. People working in the bar and restaurant industry no longer have to worry about choosing between their job and their health. Even customers can breathe easier, now without the smoky haze that once floated around them as they ate and drank. The Fresno County Tobacco Prevention Program at 445-3276 encourages all bars and restaurants to continue protecting their employees and customers from harmful secondhand smoke. If you have any questions regarding the smoke-free workplace law, call the Fresno County Tobacco Prevention Program at 445-3276.
David Cruz leads off the 8th inning for Fresno. 4-3, Salt Lake out in front, and Derek Turnbow's first pitch is low outside, ball 1-0. Doug Greenwald with you on KAAT 103.1. The 1. Cruz, Foster, Lunsford, 6-7-8 to face Turnbow, whose pitch is a fastball outside, 2-0. 4 runs, 4 hits, an error for the Stingers. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Grizzlies. Cruz is 0 for 3 tonight. And the Grizzlies slowly running out of time. The 2-0 on the way, and that is low outside from Turnbow, 3-0. Action in both bullpens right now. Salt Lake, a right-hander warming up. Looks like Joel Peralta, who pitched here the other night. Fresno with a right-hander in its bullpen. 3 balls, no strikes. Cruz taking all the way. Looks at the letters for a called strike, 3-1. Lee Gardner is the right-hander for Fresno. 4-3, Salt Lake, top of the 8th. Turnbow comes back, and Cruz swings and hits one foul left side. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Oakland today beats Seattle 2-1. Tim Hudson, the winner, beat Gil Mesh. Seattle now 0-4 to begin 2004. Let me correct it, 0-5 to begin 2004. It's their worst start since 1994. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count. And Turnbow to the plate, and Cruz swings and hits one softly back a second, but the shortstop Amezaga will be there to make a one-handed catch. A good job by Turnbow, who was behind in the count at 3-0, to get Cruz. He's now 0 for 4, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Dave Doster. Now the Oakland Athletics off to a good start. The A's 4-1. Well, here is Doster, who's made a couple of outstanding defensive plays tonight. Right-handed batter. He is 0 for 3. He's counted out all 3 times. And he takes inside from Turnbow. 1 ball, no strikes. A couple of former players in the Phillies organization. Third baseman thrower, back of the bag, just off the line. Outfield medium depth and straight away. 1 ball, no strikes. Turnbow delivers. Doster goes around to the pitch in the dirt. Strike 1, 1-1. Baltimore beats up on Tampa Bay 11-3. Melvin Moore and Larry Bigby homered for Baltimore. Eddie Perez a home run for Tampa Bay. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a fastball low outside. 2-1 to count. Boston comes back, beats Toronto today 4-1. Pedro Martinez, the winner, beat Roy Halladay, who was 0-2, the Cy Young Award winner from last year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Doster a broken bat, pop up back at second, and it's going to be Speck, the second baseman, out in shallow center. He makes the catch, 2 down. Turnbow got in on the hands of Doster. And here is the catcher, Trey Lunsford. Check out Subway's fantastic 7 Under 6 lineup. That's right, your greater Fresno area Subway restaurants have 7 sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less. See your local Subway restaurant for tasty details. Here is Trey, and he takes high. 1 ball, no strikes. And some of those sandwiches, you got the delicious honey mustard turkey with cucumber. Sounds pretty good. Lunsford a home run back in the 5th inning, which tied the game at the time. 1-0 on the way, and Trey takes that as low. 2-0. And that's the big inning right now. The Grizzlies were up 3-2, had the bases loaded, nobody out, 2 runs in, had the Stingers on the ropes, and didn't do anything more. Nathan Haynes, the center fielder, waiting on deck. Again, Peralta warming up for Salt Lake right now. The 2-0 pitch, Lunsford takes a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. And the Grizzlies in jeopardy of dropping their 3rd straight to open the 2004 season. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Thrower guards the line at third. And the pitch, Lunsford, a foul ball right side. 2-2. Orlando Hudson homered for the Blue Jays. Manny Ramirez, Mark Bellhorn, and David Ortiz went deep for the Red Sox. Having a wild one in Texas tonight. The Rangers lead the Angels 9-6 there in the 8th. Mike Young, Mark Teixeira, Hank Blaylock have all homered for the Rangers. 2-2 on the way to Lunsford. Trey swings, pokes one to third. Thrower to his left. Long throw, and a good scoop at first by Quinlan. Gets Lunsford, and the Grizzlies in the 8th go in order. They go to the bottom half. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3 on KAAT 103.1, the one for Grizzlies baseball.
Remember to bring home the kids journey to the ballpark for a special Easter egg hunt, Easter Bunny and all, which will begin at 1 p.m. Remember, the Easter Bunny will be here with candy and eggs for all of the kids. Hartman's family is back for another exciting season of Stingers baseball. Up to 7 members of your immediate family are intended in the General Reserve City for...
Welcome to Hank's Kitchen, the cooking show for guys. Today's breakfast, leftover pizza. Step 1, open the fridge. Step 2, pull out the pizza box from last week. But try not to knock over that half-empty can of beer. You're going to need that later. Step 3, look at the pizza. Is it shrunken, dehydrated, and curled up like a witch's boot? If so, you might need to use the microwave. Now, sometimes the pizza is beyond resuscitation. To test it, tap it against a table. If it makes this noise, just go to Carl's Jr. instead for a low-carb breakfast bowl. There's eggs, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, and it's all in a bowl. As for the pizza, have it later with that half-empty beer. Just pretend it's a really big cracker.
The low-carb breakfast bowl with only 5 grams of carbs. New at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Price and participation may vary.
Do you like great bargains? Enjoy online auctions? Check out B-Link, the Valley's largest local online auction. This is your chance to bid on hundreds of items from local retailers. First, log on to FresnoBee.com/B-Link. That's Fresno, BEE.com/BEELINK. And register anytime beginning April 12th for your chance to preview items up for bid. Check out the merchandise you're interested in at the store's location. Then, look for the product guide in your Fresno Bee starting Sunday, April 18th. But the real fun begins Tuesday, April 20th, when you start bidding. B-Link, the Fresno Bee's online auction. Bid online and save.
A 4-3 lead for the Salt Lake Stingers as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Lee Gardner is the new Fresno pitcher. He'll face Jake Thrower to lead it off, and he takes outside his thrower 1-0. Thrower, Quinlan Riggs, 2-3-4 for Salt Lake, trying to get an insurance run around here. Stingers took the lead in the bottom of the 6th, scoring twice against Mike Crudale. A 1-0 from Gardner. Thrower looks at strike one on the outside corner, 1-1. Thrower hitless tonight in his 2004 debut. Gardner pitched here on opening night on a perfect 7th inning. And the pitch to Thrower, foul to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let me correct that. It wasn't a perfect 7th inning. There was an error behind him. But eventually the batter who reached Quinlan was caught stealing, and then Gardner retired the other 2 hitters he faced. Formerly in the Devil Rays organization with a brief stint at the big league level with Tampa Bay. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count with Quinlan on deck. Imperative here that Gardner keep it a 1-run deficit as a fastball is outside from Lee. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants trailing tonight in San Diego. Let me correct that. That game has just been tied by the Giants 1-1. In the top of the 3rd, the Giants have the bases loaded. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Thrower a foul ball. Left side, 2-2. And now it is 4-1 Giants. San Francisco struck for 4 in the top of the 3rd. Barry Bonds was up in that inning and walked. A.J. Przinsky an RBI single. Edgardo Alfonso a bases block, and Marquise Grissom a 2-run single. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gardner delivers and a breaking ball just off the plate. 3-2. St. Louis a 4-1 lead at Arizona. Cardinals a winner there last night at Bank One Ballpark. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gardner, high set position, kicks and delivers. Thrower a foul ball to the left. And we'll try it again at 3-2. Well, last night, Arizona right-hander Casey Daigle made his major league debut and set a record. That's always an accomplishment when somebody does that in their major league debut. However, not the accomplishment that he set. The 3-2 pitch, swing by Thrower, and another foul ball to the left. 3 balls, 2 strikes. For the record he set, Daigle allowed 5 home runs. That's the most ever since 1900, the modern era, that a pitcher has allowed in his major league debut. And the Cardinals picking up from where they left off last night with a couple of homers tonight. Ray Langford and Scott Rowland have gone deep. We'll try it again. The 3-2 on the way from Gardner. Thrower swings. A ground ball to short. Cruz to his left, scoops it up, and he throws across to get Thrower. And he is out number 1 here in the 8th inning, the bottom half, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Rob Quinlan. Miller Lite, half the carbs of Bud Light. Now that's what you call great taste, less filling. Miller Lite, good call. Here is Rob Quinlan. 1 for 3, a double and a pair of runs scored. He got that bottom of the 6th inning rally when he reached on an error by the center fielder, Nathan Haynes. He swings and loops this one out on the shallow right. Linden comes hustling in and slides but cannot get the ball. It falls right in front of him. Another hit for Quinlan. That's his second tonight. 5 hits now for Salt Lake. Stingers have a 4-3 lead, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Adam Riggs, who followed Quinlan in the sixth with an RBI triple, and then went on to score the go-ahead run. That's the difference in the game right now. A 4-3 advantage for Salt Lake. Tomorrow, an afternoon game. We'll be with you at 12:45 Fresno time, 1 o'clock Fresno time, first pitch. Now here's Riggs, and he swings, and a little loop route in the shallow right. Linden had trouble seeing it, has to hustle in, but plays it on a hop. I don't know if Todd was going to get to that ball anyway. It looks like it might have gotten lost in the lights. Todd came hustling in and just put his hands up, and by the time he saw it, it fell in front of him. Now Quinlan goes to second, Riggs to first. Riggs has 3/4 of the cycle tonight. He still needs the home run. And here is Brian Gordon for the fourth time. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly back in the sixth inning. A 4-3 lead for the Stingers. Peralta should be ready by now in the Salt Lake to go to the ninth inning. Now here is Lee Gardner's pitch and a fastball to Gordon, and that is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers and Rockies tied at 1 at Dodger Stadium tonight. Milton Bradley his first homer with L.A. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Quinlan at second, Riggs at first. And Lee Gardner's pitch, swing, and a chopper toward first. Santos comes up with it to his right, flips to the shortstop Cruz covering second to get the force on Riggs. 2 out. Quinlan scampers to third. Good play by Santos, all or nothing on that short hop. Riggs retired. Gordon is at first. Runners at the corners, and here is Barry Wesson. An RBI single back in the fourth inning. So this is a very, very big batter right here. If Gardner can keep it a 1-run deficit, then the Grizzlies are looking okay going to the top of the ninth. But if not, it's a different story. Runners laid at first and third, and Lee Gardner. His pitch, and Wesson swings a ground ball to second base. Doster to his left, up with it, and he throws to Santos at first to get Wesson. And a scoreless eighth inning for the Stingers. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Last chance for Fresno. We go to the ninth. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3 on KAAT 103.1. The one for Big Band Weekend. Community Medical Centers is proud to give you all a place to bring your creaks, aches, pains, sprains, and groans. The new state-of-the-art Community Sports Center, conveniently located in North Fresno, offers 12,000 square feet dedicated to fitness training and the latest outpatient rehabilitation therapies. Ask your doctor about the place that every body needs, the Community Sports Center.
Looking for a great place to celebrate your birthday or team party? The Wildwood Pool and Spa at Grizzly Stadium is the place to be. Also great for bachelor parties, businesses, and family functions. The Wildwood Pool and Spa can accommodate any group from 25 to 50 people in size. Your pool admission includes a catered poolside meal, a unique way to watch Grizzlies take on the competition for all the great price of just $30 per person. Summer dates are filling fast, so cool off from the Fresno heat by calling 442-1994 to secure a spot by the pool today.
What's my Subway salad? Well, it's hard for a farmer man to choose. Yes, my goat friend, the new Atkins Friendly Grilled Chicken and Baby Spinach is my favorite, with grilled chicken strips and tasty toppers on a bed of 100% baby spinach. It's Atkins Friendly. So's the classic club salad made fresh under my sniffer. Too bad Atkins ain't for goats. Watch your language. My Subway salad. Any of the new Subway fresh salads. It's what I eat when I want to eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh.
Sorry? Last chance for Fresno. We go to the top of the ninth inning. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3, and Salt Lake brings on its fourth pitcher of the night, right-hander Joel Peralta, who pitched here the other night, going a scoreless inning, striking out 3 and allowing a hit. And he will face Nathan Haynes to lead it off. And in the top of the order for Brian Dallimore and Francisco Santos, 9-1-2. 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Stingers, 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Grizzlies. Paid attendance tonight, 3,800. and 94. Who have braved the chilly conditions here tonight and have seen a good ball game. Peralta out of the full lineup, and Nathan Haynes takes high, a ball, no strikes. Nathan, a triple and a run scored. He's also stolen a base tonight. But the error he made looms large right now. Back in the sixth, the 1-0 popped up. Back at second base, out in the shallow center field. Wesson comes hustling in, and he's got it. One up, one down. And now for the fifth time tonight, Fresno will go to the top of its order for the third baseman, Brian Dallimore. New at Carl's Jr., the low-carb breakfast bowl with eggs, cheese, bacon, sausage, ham, and only 5 grams of carbs. Now only at Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve at participating locations. Here is Dallimore. He runs up the bunt and takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Brian, a couple of hits tonight. RBI single in the fifth. Single and a run scored in the first. The 1-0 from Peralta. And that misses low outside. 2 balls, no strikes. If Dallimore gets on, then Francisco Santos with that as the go-ahead run. Thrower near the line at third. Quinlan off the line at first. The 2-0 on the way. Dallimore a foul to the backstop. 2 balls, 1 strike. Noah Lowry tomorrow for Fresno against Chris Buchek. Should be an outstanding pitching matchup. We'll be on the air 12:45 Fresno time for the Miller Lite pregame show. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3, and the pitch to Dallimore. Brian rips one foul right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Atlanta with 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Comes back to beat the Cubs tonight, 5-2. Antonio Alfonseca, the former Cub, gets the win. Beat Andy Pratt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Dallimore swings, fouls another one to the backstop. Count holds it 2-2. Todd Hollinsworth, back-to-back nights, he has homered. Man that tied the game last night with a pinch hit homer with 2 out in the top of the ninth off John Smoltz. And the game kept on going and going and going and going until the 15th inning before the Cubs scored a run and won. 2-2 pitch. Dallimore swings, pops this one up in the right field. Gordon in a few steps is there to squeeze it. 2 down. And now Fresno down to its last out. And it's up to Francisco Santos. He is 1 for 4 tonight, a single to right field back in the 5th. And the Grizzlies in jeopardy of going 0-3. Fresno, at the end of last year, ended up losing its last 3 road games in Tucson. They carry that over. They're an out away from losing 6 straight road games. Peralta's pitch to Santos up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Outfield straightaway, not terribly deep. Third baseman thrower, back of the bag and well off the line. 1-0 to Santos, that is low. 2 balls, no strikes. And not what Fresno envisioned coming into this season, especially after going a league worst 55-88 last year. 2 balls, no strikes. Santos takes, and that is low from Peralta. 3-0. If he gets on, Linden bats. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3, 2 out top of the ninth. Nobody on. And Peralta's delivery, and that is way up high, ball 4. So Santos draws a 2-out walk that keeps the game alive for Todd Linden. He is 1 for 3. He is singled and walked.
Right fielder, number 28, Todd Linden.
Peralta pitched most of last year at Arkansas as the closer with 20 saves. Anaheim with a pretty good closer at the big league level, and Troy Percival. And now it looks like we're going to get a pinch runner, and it's Jamie Athis who will run for Francisco Santos.
Your attention, please. Now running at first base.
So the Grizzlies with a faster runner over at first, and now Linden steps in. Keep in mind, if Todd puts one up the gap, Athos with 2 out, running on contact, would likely tie this one up. Salt Lake 4, Fresno 3. Top of the 9th inning, and Todd Linden looks outside, and the ball gets away from the catcher Gregorio, and now Athos to second base. Now Linden won't have to put one up the gap here. A little looper could tie this one up. So the tying run moves to second now with 2 out. The count to Linden at 1 ball and no strikes. Charge a pass ball to the catcher Tom Gregorio. So Athos at second, and now the pitcher Peralta steps off the rubber. Now this is the guy the Grizzlies want at the plate right here in Linden. Makes contact, can drive the ball to all fields. 1 ball, no strikes. Peralta, a look back at second. Now he comes home, and Linden takes strike 1 on the outside corner. 1-1 the count. And what is left of the paid, 3,894, decked out in blankets and heavy coats and scarves. 1 ball, 1 strike. Linden swings, grounds one back, center field. Athos touches third. He's going to touch home, and we are tied at 4. A 2-out single in the top of the 9th inning for Todd Linden. And indeed, the pass ball comes back to hurt the Stingers. Ball hit right back up the center of the diamond. Now, last night it was Salt Lake who came back in the 9th. Tonight it's the Grizzlies, who have evened this one at 4. And here is Damon Miner 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Peralta's pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes. And they talk a lot about how leadoff walks hurt. In this case, it was a 2-out walk to Santos and a passed ball. And then Athos pinch running for Santos, scoring on the Linden single. Damon Miner, a big swing and a dribbler toward first. Quinlan off the bag, fields it, and tosses to the pitcher Peralta covering to get Miner. But the Grizzlies, with 2 out, come up with the game-tying run on 1 hit. They lead 1. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Fresno 4, Salt Lake 4 on KAAT 103.1, the one for more baseball.
Baseball season is here, and it's time to book your picnic in the Miller Pavilion at Grizzly Stadium. Watch your Fresno Grizzlies battle the competition in the best stadium in minor league baseball. The Miller Pavilion provides a great environment for your company or church picnic, and your admission includes your seat and a fully catered meal. Prices start as low as $21.50, and availability is limited. So call 442-1994 to speak with a Grizzlies representative today to book your event.
Emergency hotline, can I help you?
Hello? Yes, I need help.
All right, sir, what's the problem?
I can't taste my beer.
You can't taste your beer?
No, and it's really freaking me out.
Okay, calm down, sir.
I take a sip, I feel it in my mouth. It's wet, but there's no taste. Nothing.
Okay, sir, listen to me. Sir, stay with me. What's your name?
Robert.
Okay, Robert, this is what I want you to do. Put the bottle down and step away from the beer. Go ahead.
Okay, I did it.
Now I want you to leave the house immediately, walk straight down to the corner store, and pick up a 6-pack of Miller Lite. Robert, are you listening?
Yes.
Open one, take a sip, and everything should be right back to normal.
Okay.
Don't worry, Robert. We've seen this problem before. It's going to be all right.
Next time, try to like beer that actually tastes like beer. Great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller. Good call.
Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Grizzlies with a run on the top of the 9th. They're tied it at 4. We go to the bottom half. And Gary Johnson will lead it off. 7-8-9 for Salt Lake to face the right-hander Lee Gardner. Johnson, Gregorio, and Speck. Several changes defensively for Fresno. Jamie Athos stays in the game to play shortstop. Davy Cruz moves to second base. David Doster moves to first base. And here is Gary Johnson, 0 for 3, and he swings and rips one into right field to start the 9th inning, a base hit. Played on 1 hop by Linden. It's the third hit Lee Gardner has allowed in an inning plus, and that'll bring up the catcher, Tom Gregorio. 7 hits now for the Stingers. 4-9-2 for Fresno, 4-7-1 for Salt Lake. And now Gregorio digs in, and you know he is due. He is 0 for 3. He has struck out all 3 times tonight in his first 2004 appearance. And we'll see if he bunts right here. Dallimore from third thinks so as he is charging. Gregorio shows bunt and gets it down along the first base side. Doster up with it will tag out Gregorio up along the first base line for the first out. But a good job done by Tom Gregorio, the Salt Lake catcher. Sacrifice bunt goes 3 unassisted, 1 out. Winning run at second. And here is the second baseman, Brian Speck. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Fresno 4, Salt Lake 4. Bottom of the 9th inning. Outfield comes in a few steps in case of a play at the plate. Shortstop Athas trying to keep Johnson close at second. Johnson not the fastest of runners. The pitch to Speck is low from Lee Gardner. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. Top of the order, and Alfredo Amezaga waiting on deck. Well, the Stingers trying for back-to-back bottom of the 9th inning wins. Last a 5-run bottom of the 9th. Tonight they only need 1 after allowing 1 in the top of this inning. 1 ball, no strikes. Johnson, big lead at second base. The pitch on the way. Speck takes outside from Gardner. 2 balls, no strikes. Lee Gardner was in Major League spring training by the Giants. Two balls, no strikes to count. Johnson from second base, the winning run, and the pitch on the way to Speck. Ryan looks at strike 1 on the outside corner. 2-1 the count. Gardner going with those short sleeves on this rather chilly Utah night. He ought to be used to this. He grew up in Michigan. 2-1 the count with 1 out. The pitch on the way. Speck swings, a little dribbler up along third. Fair ball, grabbed by the catcher. Lunsford throws to Doster at first in time. Speck is out. Johnson hustles to third. Good play by the catcher Lunsford. Just a little chopper, maybe about 15 feet up along the third base line. Trey hustled after it, grabbed it in the air, spun around, and got the speedy Speck at first. 2-3 on the play, 2 out. The winning run 90 feet away. And now for the 5th time tonight, Salt Lake will go to the top of its order for the shortstop, Alfredo Amezaga. And here comes manager Fred Stanley. Now, Amezaga, a guy that can do a lot of little things, spray the ball across the outfield. He can also bunt. And reminding the infielders, be aware of the possibility of a squeeze play. He also likes to chop down on the ball. Guy that can come up with a lot of infield hits, not so much just bunt hits. Well, he is reminding the infielders of that. Now, there's also the possibility to perhaps walk Amezaga to set up a force at second base. The entire infield meeting on the mound right now. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. So here is Amezaga. And it looks like they're going to pitch to him right here. He is 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Gary Johnson, the winning run at third, a small lead in foul territory. Gardner to the plate. Amezaga takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. This is a guy that makes contact, although he struck out last time. Generally speaking, will put the ball in play. Outfield shallow around toward left. Gardner set. He kicks and delivers. Amezaga looks at strike 1 on the outside corner, 1-1. Keep in mind, Gardner has to be careful right here. Cannot afford to mix in anything too cute, because if anything gets past Lunsford, the catcher, Johnson scores from third in the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnson a very small lead at third. Amezaga takes up and away, 2-1. So Gardner's going to really have to get it down the middle right here. One of those situations where a balk can win it, a wild pitch, a pass ball, an error. Fresno 4, Salt Lake 4, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Johnson the winning run at third. Lee Gardner is set, and the right-hander's pitch. Amezaga looks up and away, 3-1. Well, that's the other option. They aren't really giving Alfredo anything good to hit, and they aren't going to right now because Trey Lunsford is calling for ball 4 intentionally. And there it is. So that goes in the books as an intentional walk, even though the first 3 balls were not intentional. As long as the 4th one is. So Amezaga walked intentionally. Here is Jake Thrower. He is hitless tonight in 4 trips to the plate. Johnson at third, Amezaga at first. Alfredo's run doesn't mean anything in terms of the score, but it's significant because it sets up a force at second base. And you never like to see a guy 0 for 4 late in the ball game with the game on the line, as is the case here with Thrower. Runners lead at first and third. The pitch on the way to Jake outside, and they're going to give Alfredo Amezaga second base as he just trots down to second. So that takes away the force at any base. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes. And that'll be scores and difference, no stolen base for Amezaga. 1-0 the count. And the pitch to Thrower, and that is in the dirt. And a good stop by Lunsford, 2-0. Mr. Trouble, Rob Quinlan, is on deck. So they have the option with first base open to walk Thrower. And that would set up the force at any base, including home plate. But right now it's Gardner against Thrower. Johnson the winning run at third. Amezaga the runner at second. 2 balls, no strikes, and Jake Thrower takes that as high outside, 3-0. And we'll see if they just elect to walk Thrower right now. At 3-0. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. Johnson the winning run at third. Amezaga the runner at second. 3 balls, no strikes. And the pitch to Thrower. Jake takes up and away, ball 4. And that'll load the bases for Quinlan. Well, this is as far as we can go in regulation, folks. One of the few moments in baseball where there is no on-deck hitter. Mathematically impossible to have anybody bat after Quinlan in this inning. Either Rob wins it or we're going to extra innings. The bases loaded, 4-4. Bottom of the ninth, Gardner to Quinlan, and Rob takes strike 1 down the middle, 0-1. Quinlan has doubled and singled tonight. He has scored twice. Johnson, the only run that matters, is at third base. Amezaga is at second, Thrower at first. Lee Gardner to the belt. And the 0-1 on the way. Quinlan swings and pops down the left field line toward the Fresno bullpen. Gallimore, Athos, and Stratton go for it, but the ball goes foul. 0-2 the count. As you look down at the on-deck area for Salt Lake, and nobody is standing there. Riggs follows Quinlan, but Riggs, as I mentioned, cannot hit in this inning. One of the few times in baseball where you have a very unique situation. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Fresno 4, Salt Lake 4. Gardner trying to send it to extra innings. Quinlan trying to send everybody home. With Johnson the winning run at third. Amezaga at second. Thrower is at first. And Gardner, his pitch, and Quinlan swings and fouls one to the screen. And we'll try it again at 0-2. And a couple of guys who are used to weather like this, which right now is, according to our computer, 46 degrees. So are used to cold weather. Quinlan grew up in Minnesota. Gardner grew up in Michigan. Bases loaded. 0-2 the count. The pitch. Quinlan takes up and in. 1-2. Keep in mind, if Quinlan is hit with a pitch, that ends the game. That would force home Johnson. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Outfield, medium depth around to the left. Quinlan can hit the ball to all fields. Johnson at third, Amesiga at second, Thrower at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Quinlan takes in the dirt. A good stop by Lunsford. And the count is a 2-2, and Quinlan now has the count in his favor. Gardner obviously does not want to go to 3-2. Johnson led off the inning with a single. Was sacrificed to second, then moved to third when Speck hit that little dribbler out in front of the plate that Lunsford threw him out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Fresno 4, Salt Lake 4. Gardner set. And he is 2-2 on the way. Quinlan takes, low outside, ball 3. And this is it. This is really as far as we can go in regulation. And the paid 3,894 coming to their feet. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 4-4. The runner's set to go. Here we go, the payoff pitch. Quinlan takes high, ball 4, and this one is over as Johnson scores the game-winning run on the bases-loaded walk to Rob Quinlan, who will get credit for an RBI, and the Stingers, with a run on the bottom of the ninth, win this ball game 5-4. Gardner had Quinlan at 0-2 and ends up walking him. And the Grizzlies, so much for their ninth-inning comeback, end up giving up a run in the bottom of the ninth and losing 5-4 to fall to 0-3 here in 2004. Salt Lake in the ninth gets a run on 1 hit, no errors. They leave the bases loaded. Final score tonight, Salt Lake 5, Fresno 4. Back to the final totals in a moment on KAAT 103.1, The One.
Elephant will stand so loud, give him sing when they hoop out loud. If you don't believe it's true, come on and see the zoo.
The Chaffee Zoo is wild with magic and adventure. Capture it through the eyes of your children. When you do the zoo, it's fun, it's educational, and it's the Valley's best bargain in family entertainment.
Walker Zoo will tell you that giraffes neck is long. Camel riding through the zoo while the hippo sings along.
Bring the kids out to the zoo and see what the zoo brings out in them. A fascination with nature, a natural inquisitiveness, and a real sense of fun and adventure. Discover the Chaffee Zoo, the place the Valley's wild about.
Bring your family, come right in. You're always welcome here, my friend. Every word I say is true.
Do the Chaffee Zoo. In Fresno, 1 block east of 99 on Olive Avenue.
Come on, let's do the zoo.
A message from the Fresno Advertising Federation.
Fresno Grizzlies baseball was sponsored by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. The Fresno Bee since 1922. The Central Valley's leading newspaper. Subway. Eat Fresh. Community Medical Center. Carl's Jr. Yellow Book USA. His Magazine. Supercuts. Human Services Center. And the County of Fresno Used Oil. Now, stay tuned for the Fresno Bee postgame show. It's coming up next. It's now time for the Fresno Bee postgame show. Since 1922, the Fresno Bee has been Central California's leading newspaper. Now for the recap of the game, here's Doug Greenwald.
Now the Fresno Grizzlies have played just 3 games this year and have had found ways to lose them in just about every which way. Last night allowing 5 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Tonight coming back with a run on the top of the ninth, only to lose on a bases-loaded walk in the bottom half. Final score tonight, Salt Lake 5, Fresno 4. Here are the final totals for the victorious Salt Lake Stingers, who go to 3-0. 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 8 left. Fresno, 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, 9 left. Joel Peralta, the winner, he goes to 1-0. The loss to Lee Gardner, he falls to 0-1. Time of the ballgame, 2 hours, 51 minutes, played in front of a paid crowd of 3,894. Stay tuned, the Fresno Bee postgame show coming up next.
So I go to hang out with my friend Jen the other day, and I get stuck in the lobby of her apartment building because Jen's line is busy and I have no one to buzz me in. So there I am between the two glass doors, and I notice, for the first time ever, that there are two stacks of Yellow Page directories. Right there in front of the mailboxes is a stack of Yellow Book Yellow Pages and a stack of that other book by the phone company. Yuck! Who wants anything from the phone company? So I started thinking, why are there two stacks of Yellow Pages? First, I called my friend Kathy, and I said, did you know there were two kinds of Yellow Pages? And Kathy goes, no, but did you ever see Yellow Book's menus? They've got a ton of restaurants in there. And then I called my mom, and I said, did you know there were two kinds of Yellow Pages? And my mom goes, no, Candace, but I know Yellow Book has all the businesses I need to redo my home. So I'm thinking, if everyone's so into Yellow Book, how come there are two stacks of Yellow Pages? I mean, who needs that other book anyway? Not me.
Smart business owners advertising Yellow Book, not that other book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
The Fresno Grizzlies have a full lineup in store for you opening weekend. On Saturday, 7:05, it'll be Jerome Williams bobblehead night for the first 2,500 fans, sponsored by Mervyn. The weekend is capped on Sunday, a 2:05 matinee. The first 10,000 fans will receive Crazy Paint Fresno Grizzlies magnetic schedules. Tickets are still on sale for all three games. Call the Grizzlies front office at 559-442-1994. Grizzlies baseball, there is nothing minor about it.
Welcome to the Fresno Bee postgame show. Doug Greenwald with you on KAT 103.1. The one. Final score tonight, Salt Lake with a run in the bottom of the ninth wins it 5-4. Well, for the second straight night, Fresno got on the board in the top of the first inning. A two-out single by left fielder Rob Stratton, scoring third baseman Brian Dallimore, who had singled. That made it one run home for the Grizzlies. Salt Lake took the lead in the bottom of the fourth, scoring twice, an RBI single by Barry Wesson, and then Gary Johnson grounded into a double play to score Adam Riggs. Fresno came right back, in the fifth inning on a home run by Trey Lunsford, his first of the year, and then later an RBI single by Brian Dallimore. So that was looking pretty good for the Grizzlies. They had two runs home, the bases loaded, and nobody out, and could not score up 3-2. And right there was really the difference in the ball game, because Fresno had a chance to really do some damage and was unable to do so. So after that, Salt Lake came right back and scored twice in the bottom of the sixth. Nathan Haynes on a fly ball to center ended up dropping the ball off the bat of Rob Quinlan. Adam Riggs then followed with a triple, and after that, Brian Gordon, an RBI sacrifice fly. Well, fast forward to the ninth, it was 4-3 Salt Lake. The Grizzlies had two out and nobody on, and then Francisco Santos able to draw a walk from Joel Peralta. A pass ball by catcher Tom Gregorio sent the pinch hitter pinch runner Jamie Athos to second base, and then Todd Linden followed with a ground ball right past the pitcher Peralta, right up the center of the diamond for a base hit to score Jamie Athos. So Fresno tonight with a ninth inning comeback to make it 4-4. So he went to the bottom half of inning number 9. Gary Johnson led off immediately with a single to right. He was sacrificed to second by Tom Gregorio. Then Brian Speck to the little dribbler up along third. The catcher, Trey Lunsford, grabbed it quickly in fair territory through to first to get Speck. Then at the top of the order with Johnson at third, Alfredo Amezaga was walked intentionally. Jake Thrower eventually walked to load the bases, and then Rob Quinlan came up. It was an all-or-nothing situation for Quinlan. Either he was going to win the game or we were going to extra innings. Lee Gardner, the Grizzlies pitcher, got ahead at 0-2, but Quinlan fouled a couple of pitches off, somehow was able to work it to a full count, and then eventually to a game-winning walk, which scored Johnson with a game-winning run. And Salt Lake opens its season now 3-0 here in 2004. Fresno falls to 0-3. Well, maybe that could be a good thing for Fresno. Last year, Fresno started 3-0 and ended up with the worst record in the league. Maybe this year, starting 3-0, they'll end up, or starting 0-3, they'll end up with the best record in the league. Who knows? Still a lot of baseball to be played, but the Grizzlies digging an early hole here in 2004. Now, as we continue with our Fresno Bee postgame show, we'll take a look at scores of other ball games. We'll start in the American League, where the Oakland A's, behind Tim Hudson today, beat Seattle 2-1. The Mariners are 0-5. Minnesota hands Detroit its first loss this year, 10-5. The Twins hit 6 home runs by 5 different players. The White Sox hand the Yankees another loss, 7-3. Elsewhere, Kansas City with 3 in the bottom of the 9th and 1 in the bottom of the 10th comes back and wins at home 7-6 over Cleveland. It was Baltimore all over Tampa Bay tonight, 11-3. Boston beats Toronto 4-1 at Fenway Park. A win for Pedro Martinez. He's now 1-1. And a wild one in Texas. The Rangers beat the Angels 12-6. National League tonight, they're in the middle of the 5th, and the Giants and Padres going at it. That ball game is 4-4 at Petco Park between San Diego and San Francisco. Other National League scores, the Reds continue their hot start. Now 4-1, 3-1 winners today at the Great American Ballpark over Pittsburgh. Milwaukee hands Houston a 6-1 loss. Ben Sheets, the winner, beat Tim Redding and Wes Helms, a home run for Milwaukee. Florida continues its good start, 5-3 winners over Philadelphia. Atlanta with 4 in the bottom of the 8th comes back to beat the Cubs 5-2. Montreal, a 1-0 victory tonight in Puerto Rico over the Mets. And going to the 7th inning in Arizona, St. Louis in control there, 6-2. Bottom of the 4th from Dodger Stadium in downtown Los Angeles. It's Los Angeles 6 and Colorado 1. Right here, Salt Lake, a 5-4 win over the Fresno Grizzlies. When we get back on the Fresno Bee postgame show, we'll set the scene for tomorrow, the final game of this opening series of 2004. We'll do it in a moment on KAT 103.1, The One.
Hey, Grizzly fans, make sure you get the most complete Grizzlies coverage by subscribing daily to the Fresno Bee, and we'll cap it off with a cap. If you are a baseball fan, you won't want to miss the Bee's in-depth stories, columns, and box scores that appear every day in the Bee. In addition to the complete coverage of your hometown AAA team, you will also receive all the top local news, entertainment, and advertisements. Call today to subscribe to the Bee for 3 months. Mention this ad, and we will send you a free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap. Call 411-6233 or 1-800-877-3400 to subscribe and receive your free Fresno Grizzlies baseball cap today.
Churches of the Central Valley, get ready to come together for a night of fun and fellowship as Grizzlies Stadium and the Fresno Grizzlies host the 3rd annual Christian Fellowship Night on Friday, May 21st. Grizzlies Stadium is the perfect setting to host the churches of the Central Valley as they unify to assist Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Young Life, and Youth for Christ in their outreach efforts to all Valley youth. $3 of every ticket that is pre-sold by church groups for this event will go to benefit those organizations so they can reach every young person with a message of Christ. And that's not all. Before the game, there will be local Christian bands, Absent Stone and Cromwell performing live, and a special on-field check presentation and church recognition. Then the Fresno Grizzlies take the field to battle the Memphis Redbirds. Between innings, fans will get to enjoy the crazy on-field antics of superstars. For more information on how your church can be involved in this big event, contact Brian Merrill at the Grizzlies office, 559-320-2532, or Shane Scott at 559-320-2531. Act now. Seating is very limited. Back here on the Fresno Grizzlies postgame show, final score tonight, Salt Lake 5, Fresno 4. Now it's time to set the scene for tomorrow, final game of this 4-game series. A 1 o'clock first pitch Fresno time, so we'll be on the air at 12:45. And with the Miller Lite pregame show, it'll be Fresno left-hander Noah Lowry with his first start of the year. Salt Lake will counter with right-hander Chris Buchek. Again, broadcast time 12:45 p.m. First pitch at 1 o'clock. As always, want to thank Matt Davidson and Ronnie Paul for putting this one together tonight. All our friends at KAT 103.1 The One. And a special thank you to the Fresno Grizzlies front office for making this broadcast possible, as well as BroadcastMonsters.com. Once again, the final score tonight, Salt Lake 5, Fresno 4. We'll talk to you tomorrow with the Miller Lite pregame show at 12:45. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Fresno Bee postgame show. Join us next time for another exciting edition of Fresno Grizzlies Pacific Coast League Baseball.